Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to episode 219 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Corey.
No Will today, but joining us is special guest Tito. Tito, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
we're glad to have you. We're having Tito on because he's our resident Destiny expert. He's played a lot of it, so he's here to talk about Taken King. That's our episode for today. So,
and also his video.
And yeah, I'm going to ask him before we get started on the awesome Rocket League video. We're gonna talk about that a little bit before we get into the main segment. Anything anyone wants to tease before we get started?
Yeah, I got into the Rainbow Six beta Siege, so I played some of that the last couple of days. And there was one other thing, and I can't remember what it is. Might come to me.
Okay, Corey.
Yeah, I actually, for the first time in several weeks, I played a couple new things. One called The Tender Cut, which is less of a video game and more of an interactive experience. Mm-hmm. And another game called The Westport Independent, which is inspired by Papers, Please.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I've heard that. Heard that title. Okay. The only thing new I played this week was FIFA 16.
Yeah.
Me and Eric actually temporarily had a video up. I'll talk about that when we talk about our weeks, but yeah, I can talk about the game and my experience with it thus far, so I'll be doing that. So let's get into talking to Tito about our Rocket League video. Now, Tito, what was your like creation process for that? Did you scour the internet for clips and audio to match? Like, what was your process?
Yeah, I remember talking to Eric about it, and at work, sometimes there's not always much to do, and I already work at a post-production house, and they encourage we have so much stuff to play around with, so I just kind of took some free time to start working on that video. And yeah, I would use YouTube. I already knew that I wanted to try to get Ray Hudson, the commentator. That was pretty much the birth of this video, was just him.
Uh-huh.
So I knew exactly what line. I watched so many Barcelona games that he normally commentates. I kind of knew already what lines I wanted to use, so I just started looking for clean versions of those. And then the hardest part was looking for the Rocket League highlights.
Okay.
Good ones with high quality, because I wanted the video to be like 1080p, 60 frames as much as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably took the longest time, was just gathering all the clips I wanted to use with the audio as well.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, it came out amazing. Fantastic.
I think my favorite part is that you used the call from Zlatan Ibrahimovic's bicycle kick for the bicycle kick goal.
Yeah, I tried, like, as I was going through it, you start like mixing and matching, trying to find which ones work well, and that I noticed, like, oh, well, this makes perfect sense to use that goal for that highlight. And then it was someone commented on the YouTube page, I think.
I was just say that,
like,
somebody noticed it.
Yeah, one of the cars was named Zlatan, which was totally by accident. I didn't even realize that.
That's fantastic.
But there'll be things like that as you're editing. Like as I was getting the audio together, I wanted to take out as many names as possible. That way, you kind of stayed in the Rocket League universe.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear a bunch of Messi or Suarez names while they're saying it, because it would just kind of take you out of it. So that was probably the most difficult part, was cutting out the names.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that when you were doing it, but that makes obvious.
I think I only, at the top of my head, I only remember hearing one name, and it wasn't one that is super recognizable, so it probably slipped through most people's minds.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. I was like, it would have just been more work with that one, but
yeah, it kind of went in one ear and out the other anyway. So
yeah, and the other one I liked, because that one would fit really well, and it was totally by accident, was when Ray Hudson mentions, like, he disperses his atoms on one side of the defender, and like in the highlight, you see, like, it really does look like he goes through the car, like as he's running through him, and I was like, oh, perfect. Like, when you're editing, sometimes that stuff just magically happens, and it's always nice because it just makes it tie together. Pretty cool.
The other great one too is the Ray Hudson one where he says he takes into account the moon, the gravity of the moon and the stars or something like that.
Yeah,
he just
I
tapped
love
in
that.
and just
He
kinda
chipped it
floated
over
in.
the keeper.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun to get like as I was like the editing part overall. Once I started putting it together, it was just so obvious. Like, oh, this has to do well. Like, this is just hilarious. And I showed my coworkers as I was going through it, and they'd give me some feedback because two of them are big gamers. They don't play much Rocket League, but they're familiar with it, and they were just cracking up. They thought it was really funny. So
How
I
much
thought it would.
time
I was
did you
hoping
put
for it
into
would be a big hit. What was that?
How much time did you put into it overall?
It took me the course of 2 days, but total hours when like taking out the work stuff, probably I don't know, 4.5 hours, maybe 5 hours. It wasn't too bad. It was mainly it's just the searching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted good actual good highlights. And sometimes I find some that were pretty good, but they were kind of shitty quality, so I kind of stayed away from those.
Yeah. Well, nice. Well done. We certainly appreciate it, and it was our first big viral thing that we didn't even do ourselves. So, well done, Tito.
Perfect.
Yeah, my thing was just get some promotion for the podcast because just want to help out my favorite podcast is all, you know.
Appreciate
Aw,
that.
Thanks, man.
Well, it's funny. Our entire channel has like a little over 100,000 views, and that one video has 100,000 views. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would message. I think I messaged some of the Kotaku members like 3 times, and it wasn't until like later on I realized, oh, they probably get so many tips.
yeah,
You know, so I kind of backed off. I was like, oh, they probably just need time to go through it. But then when I checked on the website, they had like at the very top like tips at Kotaku. He's like, hey, if you have an idea. So I tried it a 4th time. And I wonder too if they don't accept like branding for things. So I put the timestamp just like after the logo.
oh, that's smart.
Just because I wasn't sure, maybe that's what was keeping them. But luckily enough, they just kind of someone finally noticed it and put it on the same day. So I was like pretty excited about that.
It's
Yeah.
funny how that works too, because once Kotaku posted it, all the other big publications covered it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's how the internet works.
Yeah.
One person has a story, and then everybody else just does some iteration on it.
Piggyback.
Yep.
Okay. Well, once again, Tito, we're very appreciative of that. That was an awesome video. So let's talk about Destiny. First, before we get into the actual Taken King, I wanted to talk about some of the 2.0 changes because that was across the board. So even people with the older versions of the game,
Base Destiny.
base Destiny, even on the old consoles, like all these 2.0 changes made it into the actual game. So I wanted to get into what some of those were and how they changed the game as compared to the original vanilla version of the game. So I'm going to mostly let Tito and Eric cover all this stuff. So Eric, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so I guess, a couple of my favorite ones I'll go over real quick. Is you don't have to go back to the tower to turn in bounties, which is awesome. You can do it from wherever you are. Another one that I really like is that experience is now separate from light, even though it doesn't necessarily matter after you get to level 40. But up until then, they're two separate things, and it feels like you're leveling up like you would in any other, I guess, kind of role-playing game,
Gotcha.
MMORPG kind of game. I think that was a really smart idea for them to do that.
What does light do now? Like
Light is like an average of all of your gear and weaponry.
what effect does it have?
Tito, you can probably explain that a little better than I can.
It dictates how much defense and attack you can deal to enemies and take from enemies, essentially.
Okay.
So, and sometimes it's like a compass for like how hard a mission will be. So that like if you want to do something called the Nightfall, which is a really difficult mission that they've changed with the 2.0 update, they give a recommendation of what your light level should be if you expect to do well in it.
Okay. So it's still an important stat that they didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just not used for leveling up like
Right.
experience anymore.
It's just like straight up experience, but you also have the light level.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is nice. Let's see. What are a couple of the other things that I really like? Oh, the quest screen. There's an actual like quest log that you have now. I think mine is usually 2 to 3 pages long. It's just really nice having a page of quests that you can look at and go accomplish, as opposed to just kind of fucking around is what it felt like before. You know?
Yeah.
It's
more directed.
a little more direction, and I think that's something that Destiny really needed. And the quests
it looks really nice too.
does.
Like
It's
the
very
graphics on it.
together.
Yeah.
The UI is great. Let's see. I think those are most of my favorite things and some of the bigger things.
I would say for like it. I don't do too much Crucible, which is the PvP component, but they did a lot of weapon rebalancing, which was a long time coming for a lot of players because before the 2.0 patch, I mean, the two guns that dominated PvP, especially in their Trials of Osiris, which, in my opinion, probably made the PvP some of the best out of any game, was two hand cannons called The Last Word and Thorn. And those were really the only guns people would use because they were just by far the strongest. And so they pretty much across the board did a whole rebalancing of every weapon type. And it was funny because I remember being on right before the Taken King came out, everyone was trying to figure out what the new meta would be with all the new weapon rebalancing. And everyone was pretty much finding out like, oh, there is no meta, which is like really hard to do. But like, congrats to Bungie because like, it's pretty much now like if you like to use a gun, you can use it, and as long as it's one of the top tier ones, you'll expect to do well. Like there still isn't really the one gun to use so far. No one's found it yet.
That's good though. I mean,
yeah,
you don't want to be limited to one or two guns to be effective in PvP. You know, so that's a good change.
One thing I like about another thing that they did is if you say I have an auto rifle that does 200 attack. And then I find a hand cannon, and I don't necessarily like to use hand cannons, but the attack on that is 235. So it's 35 higher attack. You can actually infuse the higher attack weapon into the lower attack weapon, and it raises that weapon's attack, so you can still use it.
Okay, so like if you have a really cool rare weapon like you can use that with updated stats.
Right. So I think it has to be legendary or above. Is that correct, Tito?
Legendaries and exotics can be infused, but what they've done with the blue type, the rare type of weapons in armor, is you can sometimes find them higher than the legendaries and the exotics. So you can either choose to wear the blue or use that blue as infusion fuel to your favorite legendary or exotics.
Okay.
And so like the tip a lot of people were saying at first is like don't infuse anything yet because they take up legendary marks, which are kind of hard to get. You can't. There's no way to farm those really. You have to do activities and earn them. And like save those up, and you can just use the blue to bring your light level up, since it's an average of all the stats that you're wearing. And the cool thing about that is no one looks the same anymore, because that was a huge problem. Like if you wanted to be the highest level, you had to use the raid gear. And there's only one set for every class, so everyone just looked the same, and it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I saw someplace the top 10 nicest looking gear pieces from the Taken King, and it was all very different and very nice looking.
I got a really nice cloak yesterday for my hunter when I was doing strikes. Really excited about it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because like nowadays you can do the raid and you could probably wear all blue rare pieces if you like them, or if you just like the way it looked, because it can be higher than your exotic, and you don't feel like infusing it yet. At some point, maybe you will, because generally the legendary and the exotics have more perks.
Yep.
So that they're, normally going to be stronger. But if you don't care too much about that, you can just wear this really cool looking blue rare piece of helmet that is pretty unique. So
nice.
I found like the reason I used the auto rifle for an example is because that's what the situation I was in. I found an auto rifle I really liked, but it only had 200 attack, and I just started getting these other weapons that were like higher and higher and higher. So I just started infusing all of them into my auto rifle. So I'm still using it.
Nice.
But I think that was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tito, have you done anything with the blueprints for the weapons or armor?
Yeah. So what they've done with like that ties in really well with the vault because with the 2.0 they also increased the vault space, which was just always this huge problem. Like you just run out of space to hold your favorite weapons and armor. And another way, just not only did they give you a bigger one, but they gave you something called blueprints. And there's these kiosks where every exotic that you've received, you can now you don't have to worry so much about dismantling it because you could always remake it if you as long as you grabbed it. So you could go into this kiosk and it shows you your collection. It's pretty much a collection of everything you've gained in terms of exotics. And so you can decide if you're running out of space and there's an exotic you don't really use, but you're afraid to dismantle it. You don't. There's no worry to dismantle it anymore because you could always just go back to the kiosk and rebuild it and just grab it from there.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it's cool because it shows you like your whole collection, like right in front of you. Like if you're like a big gun aficionado and that you have like your nice setup like on your wall, it's pretty much something like that. You can see all your pieces there, and it'll show you the ones you haven't gotten. There'll be there's like a little crystal, and it kind of lets you know like here's the ones you have and here's the ones that you still need to look for, essentially. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Other than that, I can't think of anything off top of mind. You have any other ones, Tito, you wanted to touch on for the 2.0?
I guess to explain, to go along with the blueprint stuff is so so things are split up now into year 1 and year 2, and with the exotics, like a lot of the guns have been left behind. Just any exotics, legendaries, all the stuff. A lot of it's been left behind, but they've decided to select a few to bring into year 2. And the difference is, the year 2 have a higher attack or defense rating, and I think the max is like 310, whereas year 1 is capped to 170. So there's a huge difference in power.
I'm actually working on that now with a couple of my exotics.
Yeah, so you can go into your blueprints and see which of your favorite year 1 exotics they brought into year 2, and as long as you've already collected it, you can just build the year 2 version right off the bat. You don't have to wait around and do a mission and hopefully get it. You can just like, oh, I already got the Nighthawk from year 1. I can build the year 2 version of it right now, as long as I have enough glimmer and legendary marks. So it's pretty nice because like you don't have to hope and pray that Xur's selling it on the weekend. You can just like buy it.
Yes.
Okay. So that also is helpful for people that have played the game a long time, and have these good items.
That being said, though, in the chat I noticed that Beardless 2 had mentioned that with all the new updating and the Taken King expansion and everything, base Destiny players are kind of screwed if you're not upgrading. Yeah.
Okay. Not a lot you can do.
No. But at the same time, I guess, did they market this as kind of an MMO?
I don't know.
Do you think?
I
Do you think
so?
it's fair of them to do any of this stuff where people that aren't going to upgrade are kind of left behind, or are those people even playing it anymore?
Yeah, I don't know.
I imagine there are pockets, but
yeah,
this does happen in MMOs. It's just
right.
The nature of the beast.
Yeah. That does. Every time a new thing comes out, they kind of make the old stuff not.
Well, even in shooters with map packs,
Yeah.
kind of left behind.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tito.
I mean, I wouldn't really know how to explain that. It's just I don't know. Like this is the kind of game where you're gonna want to do what you can. So, like there was only so much to do before Taken King, and it's just gonna be even more repetitive. Where now they've retroactively gone back and added some quests and freshened up a lot of the strikes from year 1. But I don't know if that stuff's available to people who haven't upgraded. But I can't think of, as someone who plays it and loves it, I can't think of a reason why not to get the upgrades besides not wanting to pay. Like,
yeah, I mean,
how would Bungie handle that? That's...
If you like Destiny, then yeah, there's no reason for you to not do it. But if you're not a fan, then obviously you're not going to upgrade. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say the game's what it should have been now.
Yes, yes. I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day. Well, why don't we get into the Taken King? But I had this conversation with somebody the other day that I asked him because he's really enjoying it. I asked him like, what if this game came out this year with all that it is now, would it be a contender for your game of the year? And he said it would. And he wasn't somebody I would really expect to hear that from. What would you think, Tito?
I mean, maybe it's just for me. I think Destiny is something more than just this game because like I could go on about this, but I would have to put it alongside where I put Shadow of the Colossus in terms of the experience I've had from it outside of it being a game. And I don't mean to say like it's this work of art, but more like it's doing something else that you don't see too many games have been done, where you know Shadow of the Colossus was a work of art, and Destiny is more like this weird social experiment in a video game. Because I've met a shit ton of people, and I've had amazing experiences doing something through Destiny with them, and it's just been so much fun. And I've met friends who, like, I would say, like, I met my old college roommate's friend. Never met him before in person. We've played a year of Destiny together. He comes to vacation in LA, and we meet face to face for the first time. But it's like we've known each other for years. You know, like that's such a weird but awesome experience. You know, like you can't. Like, what else gives you that? You know.
I was talking to Idaho Jake yesterday when we were playing, and like I feel like Destiny is just like a perfect social game to play with other people. It's just. It's I don't want to say it's mindless because it's definitely hard, and I'm sure that the raids take a lot of strategy and stuff like that. But some of the strikes, it's I don't want to say it's mindless, but you can talk to each other while you're playing it, and it's just such a great social game.
And you know what the difference with Destiny and MMORPGs is the voice chat.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can communicate is through voice chat. So it kind of forces you to do that. Whereas in MMORPGs, you can make friends and stuff, but it's not quite the same because you're still, for the most part, other than like if you're grouping with guildies, you're typing.
Yeah, MMOs have the type. You can use the emotes in Destiny somewhat to kind of. Like if you're out and patrolling and you see someone else and you guys are looking for something, you can like use the point or wave. That's like the barest you can do to communicate. But normally, like, nowadays you can do strikes without needing to communicate. But the raids are essential. You have to be in a chat party. You can't do the raids without chatting. There's no way.
Which is cool. That's part of what is, I think, bringing people together.
Yeah, and to go along with Eric's comment with the strikes, I remember when the game first came out, how like fun the strikes were when you didn't know how to cheese it or you didn't know what was coming. Like I remember playing with my friends and we'd be like, once we died the first 5 times and started knowing where the enemies came out, we'd start to coordinate like, okay, these guys are coming out of here, these guys are coming out of there. Like that was really fun. But then you do it so many times, hundreds and hundreds of times. It's like, that's when you can start just chatting about, work or whatever as you're easily going through these strikes or whatever, and that just adds another type of social aspect where you're just you're just hanging out with friends in a like sofa, but you're not actually in the same room, you're in your own houses. So
that's an interesting way to put it, as a social experiment. I like that.
Okay.
So you want to get into some Taken King then?
I don't even know where to start, but
there's a lot from what I've heard.
So basically the main enemy is Oryx, and he has kind of an army of Taken, hence the Taken King. That's how it starts. And I should say, first off, I played through the whole campaign for the Taken King as Tito did. I did not play the raid. Tito completed it, so he can speak to that. But as far as just like a story goes, it's so much better than anything I feel like Destiny has put out before. I was really into it the entire time, and by the end of it, the last mission where you fight the final boss was fucking awesome. I did it by myself, which I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I was like, shit, I'm going to give it a try. By the end of it, my hands were shaking so bad, and I had such a intense experience with it that I almost literally physically could not hold my controller.
Yeah.
Because it was so intense. And like I had my headphones on and turned up and the bass was going and the music was so good. That's another thing I want to talk about is the sound effects in specifically one of the Crucible modes. But yeah, the last battle, like it was so intense and I had such a good time with it. And I was just like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome.
I've only ever gotten that way, like shaking and stuff, doing Dark Souls bosses.
Yeah, no,
I got kind of the same experience.
I was trying to think to myself because I know that I had that experience before, and it was Dark Souls. But yeah, it was the same kind of thing. It's not as I wouldn't say that battle was as hard as a Dark Souls boss, but it was just everything. Like it was the build up of the whole story arc of the Taken King coming to a completion, and it's like this badass boss and like his Taken minions all over the place, and like I was doing it by myself, which I think added to the intensity of it. And just running around all over the damn place and the crazy music going on and all the sound effects. I think everything just wrapped up so nicely at the end of that. Like I really couldn't have had a better experience.
Nice.
So I really enjoyed the Taken King story a lot.
Huh?
And the Dreadnought is the new area that it adds. And I haven't done too much exploring there. I did a little bit last night with Jake. It's a really cool area. The Dreadnought. But Tito, go ahead with your experience with Taken King.
Yeah, like the story right out the bat, they have like a really nice cinematic that introduces Nolan North as the new Ghost, and he kind of goes into like what happened when the Traveler collapsed and the fall happened, and how that's when he was created to find you, the Guardian. And it's a nice way to kind of remind you like what the story is in the first place, like from vanilla Destiny. And also, like, you know, they took out Peter Dinklage completely, and it's like, okay, here's our new guy, and he just gives this nice little monologue. And just from there, like, Eric, did you notice with the story how often the characters, the NPCs, actually talk to each other?
Yep.
As compared to vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like in vanilla Destiny, say you go to the Vanguard room. There's the hunter. I don't know their names. I think Kate Six, Zavala, and the warlock lady there. They're in the same room at the same table, yet they never talk to each other. And that's how it's been like for a year. And with the new story in the Taken King, there's a lot more interaction between not only them but a lot of the characters that they brought on from the expansions, and that's really cool to see. You know, it was just very different and kind of strange. Like, oh yeah, like I didn't realize they never talked to each other until now.
It just doesn't feel so robotic, you know?
Yeah.
It's more alive.
More immersive.
Yeah. But there's like cutscenes and things like that weren't there before. It just made the whole experience so much better. You know, you didn't want to just run past everything like you did in the other ones.
Right.
At least I didn't.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
And Nathan Fillion as Kate Six, the hunter robot, steals the show, I would say.
I've heard he was excellent in that.
Yep.
Yeah, he was awesome. He just brings a nice energy. That, like, there's a character called Petra from the House of Wolves who brought a lot of energy. I was hoping for more of her, but she does have a nice little. She has like her own little small quests in the Taken King, but he just brought another type of energy as well. So it's nice to see some of the characters like that you kind of grow fond of. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I would say is the story. For one, is much more. There's actually something there. At least I don't know if it's a great story, but it's fun to go through now with more people. It always felt empty before then. Besides you playing with your friends, in terms of the game itself with the characters in it, it just always felt empty. Weirdly, like it was just kind of weird. But now it doesn't feel so much like that. So that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I've always thought Destiny was like this weird thing. Like Tito said, it's like a social experiment, but it's always had this weird hold on me where I've always wanted to go back to it. And every time I did, I was like, why don't I play this more often? Because I love it.
Even like once a week, just pop in and
like I feel like the gunplay is so well done, and like graphically, I like the way it looks. It's very pleasing to me. I like the Crucible and multiplayer and things like that, which we'll talk a little more about after. But yeah, I think weird is a good word for Destiny. So that's always been the word that's come to mind for me.
Yeah.
I
I guess the next thing I wanted to go into was like some of the changes that they made with the Taken King and how it affects the grinding and the loot that you receive. For one, so one of the changes that they did was some of the activities, the weekly activities that you do, are now account wide instead of per character. And a lot of people, you would think that kind of sucks because that's less rewards. But someone, I forgot, I was reading an article that makes a good point. It actually takes away from so much grinding because now you don't feel the need to do it 3 times on all your characters. You just have to do it that once, no matter what character you use, and now you don't have to do that same exact mission 2 more times. And stuff like that, those minor things, takes away from a lot of the grinding that people complained about. And that's kind of nice because now you don't feel like you don't have to do the nightfall 3 times or the weekly 3 times, and all that daily shit, on all your characters. It's just like I never noticed it because normally I just focus on 1 or 2 players, but like it's a nice refreshing change. And then another thing is you get a lot more loot now when you're doing strike bosses, or just in general, you get a lot of engrams, and some of them just like pop out. Like the chest just literally throws out like 3 engrams sometimes, depending on what you're doing. Like as if it's jizz just like coming out at you or whatever. It's just really
it just becomes wrecked as soon as I see a blue engram fly out.
yeah. It's pretty fun. It's cool. So that those are some of the other changes because that makes it a lot more fun to go through.
All the loots.
When I was playing with Jake yesterday, we ran through. I got a quest to do 5 strikes, so we knocked them out pretty quick, and I ended up getting like 15 engrams by the end of it to take back to the tower, to the cryptarch, to have him do, and it's just like Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Like, going to see what you're gonna get,
Opening your presents.
even though I was fairly disappointed by that asshole. I did get a really sweet new hunter cloak.
Yeah.
But it's just the chance of getting something awesome.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Nice.
Corey in the chat asked what Taken means. Basically, Oryx has the ability to possess monstrosities, and that's what it means. Possessed, taken, same thing.
Gotcha.
Zombified.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially his zombie army, and he takes them from the older enemies from previous iterations of the game, the Cabal, the Vex, and the Fallen, I believe. Oh, and the Hive. And so what's cool with the enemies, I should probably go into this, is now they have the Taken enemies actually have mechanics to them, where it's not just like some grunt that's just shooting at you. It's like some of them can form a bubble to protect their allies, so you can't like shoot at them. Some other ones, they can send this like little channel and protect an enemy so that they're immune. So you have to kill the one that's channeling so that you can hurt the other one. And it's things like that. There's another one. Some of the Taken captains can blind you. They'll shoot this big black ball that if you get hit directly, you take some damage. But if you get nicked by it, like you go blind for like a few seconds. So it's pretty cool. It's like a challenge, and it's not just this mindless like, oh, just shoot him in the head and you're good to go. It's like, no, sometimes you have to like, they pop a bubble, so now you have to get up close to, take out the guy that's holding the bubble up and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Huh.
I like it.
Adding variety, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Dreadnought as an area?
So I feel like the Dreadnought was inspired by the Vault of Glass, where before the Taken King, I would say that the best thing from Destiny was still the Vault of Glass, but that was like the first raid that came out, and people loved it because not only was it a lot of fun, but there was just so much mystery behind it because it was humongous, and you could just go exploring and try to find all these secrets and everything like that. So the Dreadnought, I feel like they designed it with that in mind. Just a shit ton of places you can go, and it's humongous. I feel like it's bigger than the planets, but it's there's just a lot of secrets. Like, for example, you'll find as you're exploring the Dreadnought, there's 9 different chests, all with different names, but you can't open them. You need a specific key, and they don't tell you how to get those keys. You have to figure it out yourself. So it's just like this huge this huge fun event for all the Redditors. I can imagine like just exploring the Dreadnought, trying to figure out all these secrets, and then just start posting it on Reddit. Like, oh, okay, I found out how to get this key, and you need to do this and all this. And another thing is they have these items called calcified fragments, and they take the place of the golden chests from the previous planets.
Uh-huh.
And you have to find. There's 50 of them to find, and depending on how many you collect, there are some rewards, some really really nice rewards that you get if you collect. You know, like right now they've only found 47. There's still 3 missing. They haven't been able to find them, but it's just things like that that makes the Dreadnought really cool because it's humongous. You can easily get lost your first few times as you're going through it,
Yeah.
and there's just so many different things that grab your attention. You don't know where to like focus on, and it's pretty fun. Like some of the like there's this one terminal called the Skyburners Access Terminal or something, and when you get the key to access it, it summons this Cabal champion, this humongous boss, and if you could take him down, that sets another mission in motion. You have to go and get this other key, and you grant that, and you just do these strings of missions, and you get a nice reward at the end of it. I remember going on the forums, and people wanted one of the biggest complaints people had with like the public events. Do you remember doing the public events, Dan?
Oh yeah. One of my
Yeah,
biggest complaints was that there wasn't any ever.
Yeah,
It
like
felt like-
what they've done with that, as well as some other things, is like they've kind of made some of these events tiered. So like if you do one part of it, it sets the next in motion.
Yep. And if you complete it successfully, it'll set off the next series of events or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty fun. They've done some more of those things as well, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, the Dreadnought's a lot of fun to explore around and stuff. Most of it's starting to, you now know everything. It's only taken a few weeks because so many people are just scouring every inch, but there's still a few mysteries, so that's kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, that was because I was playing Guild Wars a lot at the time, and there's stuff going on all the time with events in the zones and stuff, and they lead into new ones. And Destiny, like I think I played for like 20 or 25 hours, and I think I might have done 2 public events.
Yeah,
On patrol a lot.
Probably. I don't even
Yeah.
remember. It was over a year ago.
So like a cool thing with that is like, so people got fed up with like just waiting around. So like someone had the brilliant idea to like see if these things are on schedules.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
you can go to you can go to the website, and then it's like, oh, you know which one's coming next. But it was always disappointing because sometimes it still wouldn't happen. It was
Yeah.
just the chance of it happening. But with the Dreadnought, their form of public events is something called the Court of Oryx, and what that is this area, and you have like as you're just exploring the Dreadnought and you kill certain enemies, you might come across an item called the Reciprocal Rune, and you can take that to one of the statues right next to the Court of Oryx, and you pretty much they'll take the rune, and it starts off the tier 1 public event, and it's just a small challenge, and if you beat it, you get some loot if you're the one that activated it. Anyone else can join in with you, and it'll actually scale up depending on how many people are in the Court of Oryx. And if you weren't the one that activated it, there's a chance that you can get loot, but it's not guaranteed. But when you do that, you might get a stolen rune, which is the tier 2 version, and you'll have to charge that up by killing some of the harder bosses from the Court of Oryx. But then once you do that, you can set off tier 2, and you get better rewards for that. And they're slightly harder. There'll be 2 bosses that you have to take on at the same time. And then the final is tier 3, which is kind of the same thing. If you can beat tier 2, or maybe you get it from one of the NPCs back at the tower, she'll give you this antiquated rune that you can use. And that sets off tier 3, which is the hardest. And the funniest thing with last week's tier 3, because they change every week, I think so far there's been 3 different ones for tier 3, 3 different bosses. Last week's tier 3 was essentially the second raid final boss. And that's how much they shat on that second raid, because no one liked Crota's End. It was kind of a really shitty raid, and it's just funny now they've reduced it to a public event in the Court of Oryx. But it's amazing like how many people haven't done it, because it is kind of difficult. Essentially, you have to kill this one enemy with a sword and grab his sword, and then you have to take down the boss's shield, and once the shield is down, he'll be weakened, and then you can use the sword to attack him. And you have to do that enough times to kill him. But you can tell there's been a lot of players who've never done it because they have no clue what to do.
Yeah.
And they'll just like, once they get the sword, they'll just run up, and then he immediately just like kills them, and it's just really funny to watch because it's like, oh, you're totally doing it wrong. But it's pretty fun. I've enjoyed it, and you get some pretty good rewards from that as well.
Nice. Okay. What else you got, Eric? You got anything?
No, I don't think so. I think at least from the stuff that I've played, that maximizes my experience
Okay.
with the Taken King.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What, like, quantitatively does the Taken King add, like, in terms of content? I know you like touched on it, but is it like another raid, another strike? I don't know what any of those words mean.
Yeah. So I would say that it's like from the numbers that we know of, and then there's more to that. But I think from the highlight point, they have 3 strikes. There's the campaign, the story. I don't know how long that would be. It's probably like just 4 or 5 hours to go through, maybe. The 3 subclasses, and then the Dreadnought, which is another planet. You can think of it as another planet. But the thing that makes it hard to answer that question is they've added a lot of quest chains to a lot of different things, and some of them we haven't even found yet. You know, like there's an exotic gun that people are excited to get, and no one's gotten it yet, and no one knows.
That's crazy
how
to me.
get it. Yeah, no one knows how to get it, and if you go on Reddit, they're still trying to search and trying to theorize like how do we activate this quest so that we can get this gun. And because Bungie, I think it was Game Informer that kind of talked briefly about like you have to do something with the gunsmith, because the gunsmith is like this exo, he's a robot, and if you do something with him, it'll activate a memory that he has that he doesn't even realize that activates the quest chain, and from then on you do all these series of quests with him that you'll finally get this gun called the Sleeper Simulant, which is essentially a fusion rifle in a heavy weapon form. But no one has it yet, and no one's even started that quest chain. And there's a lot of different things like that kind of make that question hard to answer. But for the most part, you know, there's a lot of different missions. They've gone back and added quest chains. You know, you can go. There's a kiosk for abandoned missions, and that's where a lot of the vanilla missions are. If you want to pick those back up and just complete those just for, you know, completionist sake, and you might get some rewards from that. There's PvP quest lines to do, and some of them, what's cool is now that if you complete these really long quest chains, you'll get rewarded with an exotic weapon or armor piece. So that's kind of fun. So there's a lot of secret stuff that they've hit in the game, and I think Ryan wanted us to touch on this. But for example, one of the daily missions, there's a mission you can do every day. One of them, someone found that there was this secret hidden mission within that mission, whereas if you just go rogue and don't complete it and you go off in another direction, you can board this ship, and when you board it, like Nolan North's ghost will say something like, hey, that's strange, there's no enemies here or something, or there's no fallen, and you realize that the ship's been bombarded with taken enemies, and a timer will show up, and you got 10 minutes to clear the entire ship. And if you manage to do that, you get an exotic sniper rifle, and that's the only way to get that weapon. So everyone started going crazy once they found this out, and like you just see everyone doing that daily mission, and it's actually really insanely difficult to do. I managed to get it. I don't even know how. I guess I got lucky.
You did that?
Yeah, I did get it 2 weeks ago when it first showed up, and we had 5 seconds to spare. That's how close we were. And I was dead half the time. Like I was just lucky. I was just like, okay, that's awesome. And I also got a ship from doing it as well, a really cool ship.
Oh,
so
nice.
It showed up again yesterday. So the people who hadn't gotten it, they were back at it again, and it's really hard. It's very difficult to do. I tried to do it again with friends to help them out, and we couldn't do it. So it's definitely, if you see someone with that weapon, they've definitely earned it. So that's what's kind of cool about it.
How was the feeling at the end there when the time was running down for you?
It's just so depressing because it's just a shit it deals with that mechanic I was talking about, like because they're taken. So some of the enemies, even the smaller ones, the small ones will multiply if you don't kill them in time, and they'll just keep multiplying.
The Scions, right?
Yeah, it's the Scion. I think it's the Scion or the Flares or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just so annoying because in this mission it's like a light level 300 recommendation. You have to be like 290 or above to have a chance to complete it. And even the small enemies would just get out of hand because if you didn't kill them in time, they just keep multiplying, and it was just like really annoying to go through. We just felt very defeated yesterday trying to go through it. I was like, you need a Titan or something to do this.
The name of that daily quest is Lost in Light. Jake pointed out in the chat.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool though that like they found out later that you can actually find out about that mission if you dismantle the legendary version of that sniper gun. It was called the Black Hammer. Someone dismantled it and they got a map, this item, this rune map that had a map on it to that spot. It's like, oh, that's how you were supposed to figure it out. Otherwise, you think you just have to randomly know or something. But it's like, no, they actually give you like hints that you can actually find out. And people are theorizing there's probably more of those that they haven't found as well. There's probably other missions that have like these secret missions inside with their own rewards and stuff. So it's kind of cool because it's like, who knows what Luke Smith and all those guys have embedded in the game that we haven't even found. So
that stuff's really cool. Like, in terms of, I don't know. I think of like Halo and getting the skulls and stuff. Like, you kind of know that stuff's there, but it can be really difficult to get to, and it just makes it's like you can play the game and do the normal things, but then there's all these other insanely difficult things that don't call attention to themselves, and it's just like a good way to keep you engaged with the game and like have something to strive for.
Yeah, that's a good point. It reminds me of Halo 3's the Hayabusa armor. I forgot what it's called, but you have to jump through these giant rings in the right order, and you get the cool looking samurai armor in Halo 3. It's essentially that, just a lot more of it in Destiny, and it's pretty cool.
Did you want to? We should touch on the three subclasses. That's kind of important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can speak to the Night Stalker. That's the one that I got. One of the things I really liked about unlocking the Night Stalker is that you do it through the actual story. I don't know if it's the same for the other ones. I'm assuming it is. But the Night Stalker is really awesome, and I haven't stopped using it since I got it. So his what's the ultimate attack? What is that called?
Super.
The super attack. Basically, it's called the Shadow Shot, and he pulls out like a shadow bow and arrow, basically, and it kind of chains enemies to one spot and makes them weaker and does some damage, and it's just such a cool attack, and I'm enjoying the Night Stalker immensely. Have you used all of them or one of them?
I just started my Titan, my second character, my Titan today, and
Okay.
I got the Sunbreaker.
Okay.
And I was excited to use that because so far the Stormcaller, which is the Warlock's new subclass, which is the arc damage one, it's pretty much they create an electrical storm out of their hands and can float around the map. And then the Sunbreaker is the Titan's solar subclass, where they essentially become Thor and throw flaming hammers.
Yeah.
And those two are so much fun and ridiculously OP in things like PvP and just in the story in general. And they're so fun to use.
Yeah.
But what's cool about the Night Stalker is it's the Hunter's first support utility class, because that was their biggest complaint, is that they're really just, they don't really help your teammates with the other two subclasses that the Hunter has. This is the first one where it's like, for example, they have a melee ability where they can actually throw a smoke grenade and make their allies invisible. And that becomes really handy. That's really handy for like the raid in some aspects. And then also, their super also just makes it easier for like any hit on any tethered enemies that you use your shadow shot on. Every hit's a crit point, and so that just makes it easier for your teammates to take those enemies down quicker. And it's really cool. So that's probably the coolest thing about the Night Stalker, I would say. And they have another ability called Shade Step, which is like this cool dodge ability. It's not everyone was excited about that because it's the very last skill you learn.
Okay.
But it turns out it's not super great. It's just kind of fun to use. But there is one PvP streamer I watch on Twitch who's pretty much mastered that class in PvP, and he does insane with it. It's pretty
Nice.
cool. Yeah. But yeah, no, the subclasses are a lot of fun, I would say. I haven't had too many experiences with the Warlock or the Titan yet, but from what I've seen, everyone's enjoying them a lot.
Cool. I think that's all I have, Dan.
Multiplayer?
Oh yeah, Crucible. I just wanted to talk about the Rift Crucible mode real quick. This is one of my favorite online competitive multiplayer modes I've ever played. I think, and it's not just because it's fun, but some of the sound effects are so cool. I don't know if it's just my headphones and because it has that Destiny customization shit or whatever, but like when the spark ignites, this probably sounds kind of foreign. Basically, how it works is each base has a rift. Each team has a rift at their base, and in the middle is a spark. So you'll hear the announcer, or for lack of a better term, say that the spark is igniting. So both teams have to go to the middle and take the spark, and it just becomes a big firefight. One team will end up taking the spark, and the object is to take the spark to the other team's rift and make it explode. But the sound effects when the spark ignites and when you grab the spark and when the rift explodes are so fucking cool. Like, I don't know, it's such a little thing, but it adds so much to it.
Sound design's important.
Yeah, and it's so fun. Like, the fighting gets so intense sometimes during the battle for the spark. It's a blast, and like trying to defend. It's like capture the flag kind of where you're defending
take the flag to someone else's
yeah,
base.
you're defending the runner is what he's called. Or you're trying to kill the enemy before they get back to your rift, and it can get so intense sometimes, and it's a blast.
Nice.
I'm not great at it, but it's fun.
Yeah, Rift is pretty fun. Yeah, the dunking aspect of it is pretty cool. That's one I hate though, because you need some coordinated teammates to know. Like, I would grab it. I would grab the spark, and my teammates would just stay behind me, and I'm waiting for them to run forward so that they can escort me. But a lot of them would just play defense.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, swearing, like, there's nothing to defend. We have to score this thing. Like,
they should be a meat shield for you and just kind of soak some bullets and hope to pull off a few kills on your way in.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty fun though. My favorite has been Mayhem, which is...
I've not played Mayhem.
Yeah, they don't have it every week, which sucks, but it's essentially... League of Legends did something called Ultra Rapid Fire, where they reduce all the cooldowns to everything, so that you could just spam your abilities. And that's pretty much what Mayhem is. Your super charges super fast, and your grenade and melee as well. And it's pretty much just that. It's just this chaotic mode where everyone's just spamming their supers, and it's just a lot of fun. And normally when I do that, I play as my gunslinger with
nice.
my 4 golden gunshots, and there's an exotic gauntlet where you can have 2 trip mines, and it recharges so fast. I'm literally just throwing them out every 5 seconds, just throwing my grenades out. And I'll just get, like, 10 seconds later, I'm just running on the other side of the map, and I'll get a kill from my trip mine grenade. And it's just so much fun. That's been my favorite so far. But I wanted to mention to Eric, have you heard any of the new dialogue from the Crucible announcer?
No, I haven't played too awful much of the Crucible since Taken King came out.
So they've added a shit ton of dialogue with the PvP dude. That's hilarious. I heard one where he said something like, "With a tank like you, I could end war," and it will just have like these, like someone. I was watching someone who went on a 10 kill streak, and literally the guy went on this long rant where he said. So the announcer says, after you get 10 kill streak, "What I wouldn't give to fight with you beneath the walls, I would tear out a Vex heart with my teeth. I would swear the Cabal with my burning light, challenge the fallen kills to personal combat and scatter them. I've been watching too many Crucible matches." He literally says that. And as he's saying that whole thing, the player just started. He's like one of the best in the world, and he just started. He's like, "Oh no, he's ranting again." It's just hilarious.
That's funny.
It's just like all these little like polishes that they've added to the game just make it so much fun to play through.
Nice. Did you
Yeah.
want to touch on the raid to finish up?
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about that. King's Fall. It's pretty big. It's humongous. Getting into the raid is its own raid. Uh, Mainly if you're like doing it for the first time. Now that people know how to do everything, it's the first section is pretty easy. But it's just funny because I noticed it's a trend that Bungie's doing now with the raid is that you have to do this really difficult thing at first. And I was watching it live when it first released at work, and it took them like an hour. Like the one group I was watching, it took them like 40 minutes to an hour until they finally got to the section where the raid started, and they just started laughing once they realized like, oh, now the raid starts. We've already been thing for an hour. Um, yeah, and it's pretty cool. I would say I still like the Vault of Glass more,
Okay.
but a lot of people are saying this is probably the best raid. It's humongous. It's huge. The boss fights, if you know what to do, aren't too difficult. But I did try it a second time, and I wasn't able to do it with a group. But the first, I ran it with the usual TSF crew or Thumbstick Athletes crew, and we got like halfway through, and we just wanted to get to the first chest, just kind of have fun, get whatever rewards we can. And it was kind of late, and most people are on the East Coast. And then the next day, I used one of this websites to find a group, and I finished it with them. And I took a video. I saved the video of it of the last 15 minutes, and I uploaded it. It's really fun though. It's really cool, and I definitely recommend Eric to at least try any of the raids out. We were supposed to do it on Sunday, but you got busy with something on Sunday.
Yeah, I got to drinking on Sunday and it interfered with video gaming.
But it's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil too much, but there is some of that exploration stuff that a lot of people wanted out of the raid.
Cool.
The second raid didn't have really much of anything. The second raid was such a joke that like people could solo it. That's how silly it was. They could solo it in like 30 minutes.
Wow.
And once they knew how to do it, so this raid makes up for that. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And some of the weapons you get look pretty crazy. It has this bone marrow kind of theme to a lot of the stuff. And they look just bizarre. I think I showed you the hand cannon I was using from the raid. That looks kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the rewards you get, like they've added quests with the raids now, which is cool. So it kind of gives you incentive to go through them and get some rewards out of it. And I managed to get one with this exotic scout rifle called the Touch of Malice, which I think the coolest thing, we actually haven't talked about this, the coolest thing with Destiny that a lot of people don't realize is they've created some of the best guns.
Yeah.
They have such cool weapons. And so the Touch of Malice is this scout rifle. It has 11 shots, which doesn't sound great. But the cool trick, the mechanic with this gun is the last bullet you never waste. If you go down to the last bullet and you shoot that bullet, you can shoot it over and over again forever, and it does double damage. The trick is though it takes a bit of your health. So it's this little game that you have to play with, like how many last bullet shots can I use before I kill myself?
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool.
You do bonus damage. But if you get 3 quick kills, you'll gain some health back if you manage to get 3 quick kills with it. And it's really powerful for some aspects, some missions. Like in the raid, there's a part where you're in this aura and you can't be hurt. So a lot of people love to use that gun, and they can just use that last bullet, and they don't have to worry about dying, and they can just use that on the boss and do way more damage than any other weapon. So it's things like that with like these cool weapon mechanics that they have that just kind of make the game pretty fun.
Nice.
Awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying the raid and all of that stuff. Just doing some questing and playing Destiny because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do recommend to anyone who hasn't gotten it yet. It just makes the game so much better. Like, Destiny has that weird, like, you could complain about Destiny and the people who loved it couldn't disagree with you, but for whatever reason they just enjoyed playing it.
Yep.
But with the Taken King, you can't use those same arguments anymore, really.
Uh-huh.
So that's the biggest difference, I would say. Like, there's no more of that negativity as much. There's still obviously it's not a perfect game. There's still a lot of problems, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, most of the reviews I read are overwhelmingly positive and upbeat about the Taken King.
Yep.
And how much it adds to the game. So, yeah, if you're a Destiny player, do it.
Oh,
I keep waiting for a PC release. I've said that before, but I would definitely play it on PC.
Yeah.
So I know Corey's waiting for a PC release too, aren't you, Corey?
Yeah, might be
I wish
waiting a
you
while.
guys had access now.
I
So
probably
we could raid.
I probably wouldn't play it with a controller anyway. I just can't. I can't play shooters with a controller
Damn.
anymore.
Kellen.
I've essentially transferred to my mouse and keyboard exclusively now on my PS4.
Once
Yeah.
you get used to it, it's hard to go back to a controller. Or
Yeah.
playing a shooter on a controller.
It does work pretty well, Dan. If you're interested, the device I use is called the Zim 4, and
Yep.
the biggest trouble is spending that hour configuring everything, calibrating it correctly. But it works pretty much like any PC game would. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts on Destiny: The Taken King?
No, love it.
No. Okay.
Just love it.
I got thousands more thoughts, but I can't. I can't keep going. So
Sounds good. Well, Tito, thanks for joining us and helping us talk about The Taken King. Appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. It was fun. I appreciate it.
And thanks for the 100,000 free views on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
No problem. The funny thing with that is a lot of people would complain about like there wasn't the Spanish announcer, or they'd say like the Arabic commentators are a lot better. But I can't speak Arabic, so I couldn't. I want to do a foreign version,
Yes.
but I need to find someone that could like tell me what they're saying, so I know like where to clip out anything that doesn't make sense. But keep on the lookout for that. Hopefully, I can get that done at some point.
Eric,
Nice.
Yeah,
don't you know somebody who speaks Arabic?
I do actually. And he's a huge soccer fan.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go.
Out nicely,
He's
didn't
the
it?
one.
Yeah, I
He is
got
the
it.
one.
Yeah, but thanks. I appreciate talking about Taken King and everything. It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you, Tito.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Nibble Bits and our weeks in just a moment. All right. Sorry I kept popping out. My nose is just leaking like a sieve. I keep having to grab paper towels to stuff up it. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah,
That was good.
You
Thanks
guys
a lot,
got me
Tito.
like wanting to play Destiny again.
Good.
I feel like I'm a good salesman for it. I just always
You're a
feel
great
bad.
salesman, Tito.
I feel like I feel bad if like someone plays it and then they hate it, because I've had a lot of those. Like, this game sucks. It's like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and I can't like I don't know what to tell you. It's like, I don't know. Sorry.
It's whether or not you like doing the same things over and over again, right?
Yeah, but I was gonna mention, Eric, so when we were doing that raid that one night, like right before you got off, and we went to do the King's Fall, with, like Courtney and those guys. Like this is the stuff why I love Destiny, is like my friend plays with us and he sucks. He's terrible. But it's
Tito,
fun to
I'm
play.
here in the chat. You don't have to.
And so there's this one part, like after you do the first couple parts of the raid, where it's a platforming area and you have to jump on these ships and you have to figure out the puzzle, like what's the next ship you have to jump on that's going to go in the right direction.
Okay.
And he missed the first ship, and we're all on it, and we're just laughing at him, and we're doing the point and wave emote on our characters, and we're all just having a great time, like like just like back when you were hanging out with friends after school or something.
Yeah.
We're all just like laughing. It's funny, and then the ship that we're on dissipates, it disappears, and we all fall to our death. And then he just starts laughing and starts waving at us.
Karma.
In the safety. Yeah, it's just like that stuff's hilarious. And
Destiny.
I don't know. Yeah, like that game's filled with like cool social fun moments like that just kind of like, even if the game were to suck, any other game that you're playing, if you have friends to just stick around with, it makes up for all the shitty aspects of the game to me.
Right.
That's one reason why I like it so much. It's just kind of fun.
Yep. Totally agree.
Agreed.
All right. I need to eat. I need to get food, but I enjoyed this. So
All right, man.
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks.
Tito. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Bye.
Good stuff.
I got a whiz too.
Me too.
I peed before I came today.
I I stumbled on a Reddit thread while you guys were talking, and I was trying so hard not to laugh out
Is
loud.
that what you were smirking about? I was wondering, like, I'm looking in the chat and I'm like, what is he smirking at?
It was titled, "What's your favorite thing you have in your save section on Reddit?" And there's just like the funniest animated GIFs and stuff like that. I don't know. I was trying so hard to hold it together.
I'm watching the one you put in the chat. Guy's just shit-faced.
Oh man.
That's good. That's good.
Are we back to good? Oh man, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that was long.
Vintage us. What is going on with...
Corey, was there a question of the week?
No, I think Jake just saw the older one
Oh, all right.
that I haven't updated in weeks. I did make some updates to the webpage, though. It's coming along.
Did you? I looked at it yesterday.
Yeah.
Christy likes it a lot better.
Yeah, it's coming along. I'm gonna
What
put
a pain in the cock it was to put our logo up on that community thing.
It's like the simplest stuff. It's
Like,
just such
come
a-
on, PS4, can't I just use my thumb drive for the love of Christ?
Yeah. Dan, how was our Dropbox full? We don't have anything on there, do we?
Yeah, for a while I was uploading like episodes on it and stuff.
Because that's probably the easiest way to do all this stuff. Is just use Dropbox. Oh man.
QOTW. W.
Whatever. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore. Later, Beardless. Thanks for swinging by. I gotta pee. I was getting real nostalgic for the old days earlier today.
Oh, yeah?
I forget what I was doing. Oh, I was playing my guitar.
Oh, nice.
And I was thinking back to when I was 13 and first started playing guitar.
Corey, if you bring your acoustic to my bachelor party, we might just get drunk enough to sing some Edwin McCain.
Yeah. What's Edwin McCain?
What?
I don't know what that is.
Yes, you do.
Edwin McCain?
Yeah, what's that? Just Google it. He only has one good song. I think that's his name.
Oh, I'll be.
Yeah.
And I'll be. Oh, I better be careful. I don't want to get our video muted.
Yeah, Jesus. Second time in a week.
Pissed me off so much.
Better when I'm older.
I was tinkering with that, and that's when I was playing Metal Gear last night. So
Yeah. So
on
you were
top of-
doubly pissed.
Oh my god! I wanted to punch somebody.
Jesus. That's how I was feeling at work today.
Hey, we had a new listener in for like the entirety of that segment.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
nice.
he didn't favorite us,
Nope.
which was rude.
Right, especially when Tito was
Spouting the gospel of destiny.
spouting the good word.
Really made me want to play it.
He knows his destiny, doesn't he?
I'll say.
Does.
It's like when we did our Heroes of the Storm episode. You
Yeah.
know?
Me and Will went into every character. Damn it.
In depth. That's okay.
I don't pay attention to things enough to know a lot about anything, except for soccer and football, I guess.
It's my biggest problem in life
Yeah, me too, Corey. I don't pay attention to anything.
Yeah, I get like a surface understanding of a bunch of different things.
I don't even get that.
Well, then you just get bored with it, and I never pursue it to the point where it's worthwhile.
I'm just not interested in anything,
Yeah.
and nothing keeps my attention, so I just don't.
That's why I always say I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, but like history and tech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I
But
don't.
a lot of it is still only like maybe a little bit more than a cursory knowledge of things.
So I did.
It's all broad. I'm not too in depth in one topic.
I did
know?
something I've never done before.
Ooh, what's that?
So you know how Chris's Mary does communications, like internet wire and telecommunications.
Yeah.
She got the skinny on a new business that was opening in Utica, and it's a brewery, like a farm brewery.
Uh-huh.
And Mary told the owner about me and that I had been brewing and all that stuff. And she's like, "Oh, that'd be great. Like, have him give me a call. We're looking to hire people." So I had to call her, like cold call her, and like pitch myself to her over the phone to this woman.
How weird was that?
It's the only reason I say it's something I've never done before. I've had to do those kind of phone calls before, but it's the first time I kind of like felt sleazy a little bit, like overselling myself.
Well, that's that's our problem.
Exactly. That's what you have to do in life, but that's the first time I've ever felt like I've kind of succeeded at doing that,
Yeah.
Like
Well,
all you got to do is oversell, and then you can underdeliver all you want. What?
What do you mean you felt sleazy?
Just like I don't know.
I'm like, because I'm kind of like humble. I don't.
Exactly.
So it's weird to like talk about yourself in this really positive light. I'm also pretty self-deprecating. I like to make fun of myself. So it's hard to really sell yourself in a super positive light. Like, hey, you need to hire me.
Yep.
For whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
but I wouldn't say you're not. You're confident in yourself.
Confident. Oh
right?
sure. Oh sure. But it's hard to. I'm more like quietly confident.
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
You'd rather show than tell.
That's exactly how my boss described
Exactly.
me. When they hired me, not for the job I just got, but for
Yeah.
the job I have now, he told me in my interview, he's like, you just have a quiet confidence about yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm more quiet at work than I am outside of work,
Right.
which is for the best.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that was always my part of our problem with like advertising the podcast and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it was, we'd mostly just rather have people find us, rather than be like, hey, listen to our show.
Yeah, throw it in your face.
Yeah.
Here, look at it. Hey, check this out.
There is a small benefit to that. Is like when you do that, you kind of let people discover you. Then your iTunes ratings are more than likely to be good.
Yeah.
Because you're not cramming it down people's throats. People don't feel obligated to go and give you a bad rating if they don't like you.
Right. That is a good point. Yeah.
We're up to 5 full stars on iTunes.
Really?
Shit.
Yeah.
Do we get more ratings?
I think we got a couple since like a year ago.
Oh, nice.
Well, we weren't perfect because Bill Murtha,
Yeah, your pops.
our own dad, gave us 4 stars. I was like, Dad, why'd you do that? He's like, well, nobody's perfect. I was like, I don't think you understand how this works.
Not to totally change the subject, Corey, but it just popped into my mind. You said something about you're happy that the Sabres got Eichel instead.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to explain a little bit.
Well, you know how like those first few years of Sidney Crosby, and even now, like people just give him a hard time because he's Sidney Crosby.
This is
Like, oh, he's a baby. He's always looking to the refs, which he kind of is to a certain extent. But he does get a bad rap just because he's like the golden boy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think Connor McDavid will be looked at the same way. And it's nice to kind of have the dark horse,
Well, he's
Yeah.
gonna suck in Edmonton anyway.
Edmonton's going to be bad no matter what.
Let's hope.
No, but yeah,
Yeah, because who was taken second in that draft? It was like Jack Johnson and
wasn't Ovechkin in that draft?
no, I think it was.
No, he was drafted the year before, but it was the
Yeah.
lockout year. So they both were rookies the same year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was Jack Johnson and I don't know. I'm not
I
gonna
don't
think of it.
remember. I'm not good at that, remembering who was drafted when.
Well, it was like
Years back.
yeah, 8 or 9 years ago.
Did I make the right pick with Sydney?
For first pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of have to, you know?
Yeah.
Yahoo wanted me to take Ovechkin, but I didn't like that.
Well, especially, well, yeah, he would have been all right too, but especially with the 3-on-3 overtime, like Sidney Crosby's going to be scoring a lot more points.
It's a face-off winner too, right?
Yeah.
So
As long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, that was my only thought.
Because he does have a tendency to get hurt.
Soft. Can't grow a playoff beard, which I hate.
Matt Lupica tried to trade me my Wayne Simmons for his Derek Stepan. I told him no.
Wayne Simmons is more. Well, oh no, that's in your other league, right?
Yeah.
Step on in our league.
Yeah. Simmons is left wing, right wing.
Not just that, but stats wise, he's more complete stats wise, right?
Yeah, I mean Stepan will get you some face-off wins, but
I had Stepan last year, I do believe.
I can't wait for hockey.
It's 1 week.
I'm coming for you, Buffalo. That's the other thing.
Nah, yeah. Eichel's going to get in trouble at one point or another from drinking too much. You know it's coming.
Especially if he hangs out with Ryan O'Reilly.
Oh, man. Yeah. And God forbid Kaner comes to town for a weekend, visit the family.
I've heard he likes... Oh, Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've heard of Vander Kane likes to party, too.
Oh, boy. Could be some trouble brewing up there in Buffalo.
Beer back.
Don't get Ristolainen can be the DD.
There you go. He could be the Puritan of the bunch.
I imagine it'd be one of the older guys. Gianta.
Yeah, babysitting the younger guys.
Gianta and Legwand.
Legwand. Old man Legwand. Does Buffalo plays on Thursday, right? Next week?
I'm not sure.
There's a few teams play on Wednesday, and then the rest start Thursday. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I hope to be able to... Well, I won't be able to watch more hockey, but maybe listen to more hockey.
Yeah.
I should be able to watch the end of the season, though, because I'll have cable at my new place, hopefully.
Yeah.
Buffalo's getting spanked right now.
Oh.
4-0.
Ooh. Yeah, it's preseason. Hey, how squeaky this chair is, but I can't stop squeaking it.
Yeah, Buffalo plays Ottawa. I'm so happy I got 3 starting goalies. Is Jimmy Howard's going to split time?
It's tough to say. It's one of those type of situations where whoever gets hot is probably going to start playing more between him and Mrazek. But I should probably do show notes. Was Will in the chat,
No.
or was he just not chatting but watching? Maybe.
No, I don't think he was either.
Really.
Will's checked right out of the TS Athletes
well,
community.
He wanted to Skype in, but I didn't know,
yeah,
he hasn't done anything, so I was like, just because Tito was going to Skype in, and
right.
It's a little different, as you know, having more than Corey Skype in because of the whole camera thing and stuff. So I was just like, just do your schoolwork,
Let me email you.
27.
Well, we have 2 emails from Jake.
Okay.
Can you just pull that right up?
On my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to put it in the feedback thing.
Yeah, that's no problem.
All right.
I think I have her.
We had that, and I think he also asked you on Twitter if you were going to get Lego Dimensions.
Okay.
You specifically.
And I think I responded,
Oh, you did.
but I don't know for sure. It's one of those things where oh,
What?
Corey might be interested in this. We got a $100 AdWords
What's that?
credit to put ads for Google.
Oh,
I'll have to tell Corey about that because we're Google Domains customers now. I transferred our domain to a place. It cost like $50 a year for the domain to Google Domains, and it's $12 a year now.
oh, Jesus.
And when I renewed it, it's renewed through 2017 now, I think. Corey,
What?
did you see we got a $100 AdWords credit?
Yeah.
Do you know how to use that?
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, that won't get you very far though.
No, I'm sure, but
Yeah, I'll make use of it for sure.
okay.
I got nothing. I had a lot of nibble bits. I didn't think I had any, and then I looked and I was like, "Oh shit!"
I've got 5 myself, Corey.
I've been dropping the ball a little bit on nibble bits.
I've
gotta pay closer attention
after this.
That's fine. Do what you gotta do.
We need to find a substitute,
An intern.
A sub?
a sub. If Will's gonna be missing a lot, it might be kind of fun to have somebody who can.
Well, Will didn't want to miss. He wanted to Skype in, but I figured since Tito was Skyping in and he didn't really have anything to talk about, I was just like, just go ahead and take the week off.
Be right back.
Who would sub, though?
I don't know anyone around here that would do it. Well, on a consistent basis.
Right.
And one that last minute we could be like, hey,
Yeah.
come on over.
All right, I'm ready when you guys are.
All right, here we
You
go.
hear that buzz?
Yes.
What is that?
I don't know.
Me?
Corey, do you hear the buzz?
It's a low hum just started.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yep. Stopped. I hear the pitter patter of little feet.
Pitter patter of little feet, barking of a dog. Yeah, that's all we hear in the house.
We should put out a album of Thumbstick Athletes ambient noises.
There was one episode, it was early on, I think, where the wife came down and like started the dryer or something, or the washing machine dryer. She's like, because she listens every week. She's like, "Oh my god, sorry, I didn't realize I'd come down to start or I didn't realize you could hear it that well." I guess is what she said.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fine.
You guys pick up a lot of stuff.
What's that?
Noise.
Oh, I know.
Well, I mean, it's your microphones, but.
Yep, that's because they're good microphones. Someday I'll have a soundproof podcast studio.
A soundproof booth.
I could do soundproofing in here probably, but I don't have the finances to do that.
Yep.
All right, we ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Boom,
5,
bam.
4, 3,
Dippy-dap.
2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 219 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. We are now in our Nibblebits segment. Corey, why don't you get us started with Nibblebits?
Gosh golly gee willikers. I have a lot of quick hitters, so I'll be brief. A couple of them we might want to talk about. But my first one is Super Mario Maker has sold more than 1 million copies. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
More than 2 million courses have been uploaded. I know as of 2 weeks ago it was 1 million. So those courses are coming hot and heavy. Twitch beat Dark Souls.
That's
Saw
impressive.
That is impressive.
That is To be fair, they instituted some sort of like democratic voting system where people like voted on the series of actions they wanted
Yeah,
the
it would
person
run.
to take.
Did you watch any of it?
A little bit.
Okay, I did
Not
too.
enough to pick up on it though.
What would happen was they would run the game for like 3 seconds or whatever, and then it would pause for 30, and it would vote on the next move. So it would pause for enough time to give people whatever chance to put in their command. And one of the things I read said one of the like they were having a lot of trouble early on because of trolls, basically. But after trolls lost their interest, that's when the people that were really into it were able to get the game moving a little bit faster.
Yeah. Sucks that Twitch beat a game that I never beat.
It does kind of suck.
You need to beat it, Corey.
I've been
be
playing. I got a playthrough going.
Should be a mission of yours.
I hope to have it beat by the end of the year.
Some people complain that that's kind of cheating, but I'm like, if a group of complete strangers can beat Dark Souls, that's pretty impressive. Like, I kind of like that they had to work out that mechanic to be able to progress in the game.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Well, the old monkeys writing Shakespeare saying.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You put enough monkeys in a room for long enough, and they'll write the works of Shakespeare.
All right, now I know it.
Something like that. I don't know the exact phraseology. Microsoft is removing microtransactions from Project Spark. I didn't know Project Spark had microtransactions.
I didn't either.
But it will be a, quote, free and open creation engine, which seems to be the way of things these days. That will happen October 5th, which is in 4 short days. So apparently they are reimbursing players who purchased
I was just going to ask that.
the game or, did some sort of purchasing after July 28th, and they'll be reimbursing them with Microsoft Store credit.
Okay. That's better than nothing, I guess.
You can put it towards your copy of Microsoft 365.
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft Office.
Office 365.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly, Rockstar Games never considered a PC version of Red Dead Redemption. That was according to Chris Roberts, who was the multiplayer designer on Red Dead Redemption.
There was multiplayer?
That's what when I read that, I was like, really? But he said that on a Twitch stream, and he left the company in 2010, so who knows if there's been talk of that since. But that's surprising, because it was developed on PC, and for them to never even consider, like...
Chris Roberts, is that the guy that's doing Star Citizen?
No. That's Chris... Star Citizen...
Got to look it up.
It is Chris Roberts, but it's a different Chris Roberts.
Okay. I was a little confused there. Okay.
Pretty common sounding name, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
Yeah, this Chris is Chris Roberts with a K. Chris.
Okay. Yeah. The other guy, the Star Citizen guy, is CHRIS.
And then Chris Edward Roberts is a Democratic member of the New Hampshire House of Representatives, representing the Cheshire 3rd District since 2004.
Gotcha. Good to know.
Moving along, Mighty Number 9 has a release date, February 9th, 2016 in North America.
Don't hold your breath, though.
Yeah.
Do you guys care?
No.
I really want to play it. I've been excited for it since I first heard about it.
What are you excited about?
I don't know. It just looks cool. I like the modern take on a classic game type. Like I really like the updated graphics in like an old Mega Man game. I think that's gonna be neat.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't care when it comes out. I'm just gonna buy it when it comes out. I wasn't waiting
Getting
with,
it on Steam?
I wasn't waiting with bated breath.
All right.
Is anybody chomping at the bit for Mighty Number 9?
Probably.
I'm not, Corey. I've lost all interest.
Mega Man fans are waiting for this game like you wouldn't believe.
I feel like it got to a point like maybe in like 2013 where I stopped waiting for video games.
Yeah.
I just had enough to play that like stuff came out when it came out, and other than maybe Starbound kind of did that for a little while. Like I couldn't wait for Starbound. But now it's just, I don't know. I have enough to play and keep my interest that...
I have too much to play.
Exactly.
Keep my interest.
I mean, I should be really excited for Fallout 4. I'm excited, but, you know, that could still come out next year and I'd be all right.
The only one, and it's pretty much dissipated at this point, was No Man's Sky. Was the one I couldn't wait for, but now whatever.
Is that still this year?
It's not gonna fucking come out this year.
I don't see how it could possibly come out this year. They haven't even announced a date for release.
They did say at some point though 2015, right?
Yeah, that was the original
Okay.
thought.
I keep hoping it's going to be one of those things where
it's just out.
Yeah, it's just out all of a sudden. He's supposed to be on Colbert.
Sean Murray?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're having PewDiePie on tonight, and I think Sean Murray's tomorrow. So,
Smart.
What channel is Colbert on?
Don't know.
I wouldn't mind
can't
watching
remember.
that. All right.
You looking forward to PewDiePie, Eric?
No, not PewDiePie. I'd like to see Sean Murray.
Sure.
Because he's a cool guy.
Oculus VR launched its Oculus Ready program. Stole my line.
I was gonna say where they've been listening.
I don't know. It's possible.
This happens fairly frequently, I feel like, where we have a thought or an idea, and next thing you know, it pops up.
Yep.
What's good about this now is we can point to the podcast where I first said that.
Yeah.
You know, and say, you guys, I want some money for this.
You owe us money.
I want residuals.
I want royalties.
Royalties.
So, essentially what it is it's partnership with the big PC manufacturers like Dell, Alienware, and Asus, and it's Oculus branded PCs that are designed to work out of the box with Oculus Rift when it releases. The cheapest one is from Asus, and it's $949. The article I was reading was on GameSpot, and the most interesting part of this for me was the pricing that they kind of pieced together. It says, quote, Oculus has not yet confirmed a price for the Rift headset, but the company has said you should expect to pay $1,500 for an all-in setup. That includes a capable PC and the device itself. If about $1,000 is the baseline for Rift-compatible PCs, that would put the price of the headset itself, which comes with an Xbox One controller, at around $500, though, of course, this is not confirmed.
Yeah.
That seems high to me.
Seems high to me, too.
I mean,
I had heard 350, or at least 350 for Oculus. Last rumor I heard, I guess.
PlayStation VR, they said that's going to be console price, so that's,
I think that's too much, personally.
Oh, no, it's definitely too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was that much at all.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for, like, the $200 Oculus Rift.
$299.
Yeah.
$299. You know what I thought was interesting? There's Samsung has have you ever heard of the Gear VR?
Yeah.
Apparently my phone is compatible with the Gear VR headset. But I want to be able to, it has its own specific like app store and stuff. Which it's compatible because it's a Oculus partnership that the Gear VR, Samsung Gear VR has. But if someone figures out a way to like hack into the whole thing, and make it so that I can do VR with my phone, that would be amazing. So then I would just have to buy the $100 headset to put it in, and you just plug my phone into it.
Yeah, Google Cardboard.
Well, there's Google Cardboard. Google Cardboard has a specific app store, and I actually am going to get one of those because that works with any phone.
Yeah.
So just to tinker with it,
Right.
because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, 2K. We talked about the BioShock on mobile last week. 2K has since removed it from mobile devices. It's no longer available, essentially because it sucked, which we talked about a little bit. But we also have a date for the Star Wars Battlefront beta, October 8th.
Nice.
Looking forward to that.
It's week.
Bad timing for me because I'm taking a trip on the 9th for that whole weekend, so I will miss out on the
Sucks,
Battlefront
dude.
beta. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I assume just that weekend.
weekend.
You're gonna get some playtime in with that, Dan?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Nice.
Major bummer.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. Everything I keep seeing, it looks awesome.
I know it. I want to play it. I want to be on Hoth.
Yes, definitely want to be on Hoth.
Yeah.
Freezing my balls off.
And my last one, TBS formed its own esports gaming league. They plan to televise every week, Friday night, starting in 2016. That is like the nerd slot. I remember when Battlestar Galactica was on the air. This is before I watched it, and because I thought it was too nerdy. It was on Friday nights, and I used to make fun of the people that were watching it.
Is TBS like Turner Broadcast?
TBS. Apparently, the first year of TBS's gaming league will focus on Counter-Strike Global Offensive because they think it's, quote, the easiest to digest, which kind of makes sense, you know.
Yeah, a shooter.
Maybe don't want to throw a MOBA up there.
What about a Rainbow Six Siege, huh?
I'd be all right with that. Is that going to go into esports, you think?
I thought of Counter-Strike when I played it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so maybe.
Their format will be 2 10-week tournaments. Will include a regular season and a playoffs. I like that. That's cool. And also, they'll have companion content throughout the week. I didn't know this, but apparently TBS owns Bleacher Report.
Oh, really?
Or Turner. And they plan to use that outlet for behind-the-scenes stuff, too, which is cool. That's really cool. More details on that later this year. The Turner Sports president, Lenny Daniels, I have a little quote from him. He said, "I don't think there's been an investment at this level ever in this space. What it's going to do is really propel the sport. This is not just about TBS. This is about building a league from the beginning to the end and really remaking how people think about esports play, how they get involved, and how the stories are told." I think this is a really smart move.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend who works at one of the major networks. He works in their sports division, and he's been really trying to push esports to them, and it's just
falling on deaf ears.
Exactly.
So TBS is getting ahead of the curve. I mean, it's going to happen eventually anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to be the first ones. They're going to be controlling it.
The godfathers of esport television entertainment.
Yeah.
Sounds like they get it. I mean, ESPN has done some stuff with esports, but this is the first like this guy said, you know, major investment.
And there's still a lot of negativity surrounding the whole ESPN.
Colin Cowherd specifically.
Yep. So
who apparently got put in his place today.
Oh, did he?
About that.
Good.
I'm gonna watch the video when we go to break.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I do too. That's awesome.
That's all I have.
Okay. What do you got, Eric?
I got some new Smash Brothers DLC news, Dan. Out this week, a couple of new stages. A pirate ship stage that's modeled after Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda.
Cool.
Got that artsy look to it, so that's kind of neat. And then you're also, that one's $2 on the eShop, and that's only for Wii U, no 3DS for that one. The Super Mario Maker stage also came out for $250 on the Wii U and 3DS. And then some new costumes for your Mii. The costumes are from Monster Hunter, Star Fox, Kid Icarus, and some others. So
Very
that's
nice.
kind of cool stuff. A lot of cheap DLC out there for Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I like that.
Me too. One I'm really excited about, and I think this is cool. Xbox has always been the sponsor on the shirt for the Seattle Sounders MLS soccer team. But this weekend, they're going to actually have Halo 5 on their jerseys as a Xbox specific game to pump before that comes out. So that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Let's see what else. Xbox One, if you have a lot more friends than I do, you can now do 12-person party chat. I don't know as if there's ever been a time I needed that.
Yeah,
that sounds
that's
awful.
Yeah, that does sound awful. Like it would just get mumble jumbo, and especially like, God, playing video games. Like, I don't know. I don't like that. But you have the option to do it now if you so see it fit. Corey, do you know there's a Times Square theater?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 45,000 square foot, 2,150 capacity concert and special events venue.
Is
it got
it called
renamed PlayStation Theater.
Is it called the Times Square Theater or a theater in Times Square? Because if it's,
Times Square's premier concert and events venue.
I mean, the Best Buy Theater was there. Maybe it's not Best Buy Theater anymore.
I'm not sure. It got renamed PlayStation Theater. I guess it's hosted. This is right from the PlayStation blog. It's hosted Bon Jovi, the Eagles, Dick Clark's New Year's.
So nothing very good.
Well, maybe not in our eyes. But it's had some stuff in there. So I guess it's kind of a legendary thing. But now it belongs to PlayStation.
It is the Best Buy Theater.
Oh, okay. You familiar?
Oh yeah, I've been there many a times. That's where I saw Dr. Steve Brule.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Used to when I was in the biz, I saw a lot of hip hop acts there.
Okay.
And yeah,
Cool.
It's a cool venue.
Why do you think PlayStation branded it?
It's a great spot to be, I guess. I don't know.
What does it mean video game wise?
Nothing.
PSX? Would PSX ever be there? PlayStation Experience?
Maybe.
Probably not. It's kind of small.
Okay.
I don't know how big they've done in the past, but it's relatively small. Would you say like 2,000 something capacity?
2150 capacity, yeah.
Yeah. It's just advertising, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Just looks good to have that name in Times Square.
Okay. New firmware 3.0 is out for PS4. Some of the new features, you can share 10-second video clips straight to Twitter now. There's now a PlayStation Plus section. If you scroll all the way to the left on the home UI screen, it's dedicated to your PlayStation Plus, so it'll show you what the free games are, your discounts. You can easily manage your PlayStation Plus membership, which is nice. Notice how easy that was on there. YouTube streaming has been implemented. Communities is something that I was interested in, and I did start a Thumbstick Athletes podcast community on there if anybody's interested in joining. It's just kind of a place where you can leave messages for each other. But the coolest part, in my opinion, with the communities, and I didn't even know that this was part of it, is you can start like a community gaming session. So you can be playing it. You have to pick a game to represent your community, which I don't necessarily like. But I picked Rocket League for ours because we all like Rocket League.
Uh-huh.
So I could go in and start a game session playing Rocket League or Destiny or whatever and say, hey, come join my party and play. And when you go to the community, it will show you 2 players playing. And you go over and see what they're playing and you can join them.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's really cool.
That is cool.
Especially for like a game like Destiny or Rocket League, games where you want to play with people.
Yeah.
I think that's a really neat thing. It's just a matter of whether people use it.
Right.
That's the real question. What else is in there? Supposedly some better messaging and stuff like that. I haven't messed around with any of that stuff. And another really cool one, if you're a PS Plus member, the online cloud storage has been bumped up from 1 gig to 10 gigs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's really nice considering the space all of these fucking games are taking up. I heard on another podcast that the Uncharted collection is like 44 gigs.
Uh-huh.
Ugh.
Do you get to control what gets uploaded to the cloud? Can you just
I
do
think
like,
you can.
You could just do like save games.
I think you can control it. I've never really messed around with it.
Gotcha.
But I'm pretty sure you can control it.
Be a good place to stash all your porno.
On the PSN cloud. Yeah, I guess it would, wouldn't it? That's it for me, Dan.
Yeah, okay. I've only got 2 nibble bits. First one being, if you had planned on suggesting a character for the addition to the Smash Brothers roster, your deadline is October 3rd. If you want to vote, I posted a tweet on our Twitter timeline that takes you right to where you can vote. So,
Are you actually voting on some predetermined characters, or?
No, suggesting. That's where you suggest characters.
Oh man,
I suggested Bayonetta. That's who I want to see in Smash, but really, you can say whoever you want.
That's who I want to see too, Dan.
Yeah, it's a good fit.
Eric Cartman.
Eric Cartman.
Just quick side note, I heard that the new season of South Park is really good. Anybody watched it?
I haven't. I
No.
wait till it's all over before I get caught up.
I heard it from a friend who told me the first 2 episodes were fucking hilarious, and then I read something today saying it's one of the best seasons ever.
Nice.
It's only 3 episodes in.
It's weird that show just still remains so good.
Well, social commentary you could
Yeah.
go forever.
Yeah.
Mm.
But still being able to, I don't know. They just the way they fit
Well, they're brilliant.
Well, the way they fit the characters into whatever is going
Yeah.
on, and have it be like have whatever's going on in South Park be a microcosm of actual like world events. You know,
They're great.
it's fantastic.
Can't wait for their next video game either.
Yeah. Square Enix has decided to shelve its pre-order bonuses for the newest Deus Ex game, Mankind Divided. Previously, they had offered different tiers for rewards based on the number of pre-orders the game received, with the last reward being the game launching 4 days early for pre-orders.
I didn't see this, Dan, I didn't know about any of this until you tweeted it.
Yeah.
What a bunch of shit that is.
It was really bad. People hated it, which
Of
is
course
good.
they did.
You know, like pre-order stuff isn't confusing enough.
There
was a backlash.
It's almost like Kickstarter.
Yeah. It was pretty ugly. So now anyone who pre-orders the game will get the same things regardless, and the game will launch on the same day for everyone. So
Guaranteed somebody got sacked for that.
probably it was a
Good.
bad idea.
Well, yeah. How does that even get to be a thing? Who isn't there a couple people that work there that are like, guys, this is a terrible decision.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I doubt
I
it.
guess that's right. You know what? No, I probably wouldn't be surprised. You're right.
And the ones that did think it was a dumb idea would not want to say anything
Yep.
No, you're right.
because you didn't want to get fired.
Yep.
Go fine.
They're meant to speak only when spoken to.
Getting a paycheck and going home.
God forbid you have a smart opinion about something you know something about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I had for Nibble Bits. Corey, how was your week?
Good. I have a few things to talk about. I watched the movie Unfriended.
Okay.
You guys familiar with that at all?
A
No.
horror movie?
Yeah, it's another Blumhouse Productions. They're doing kind of like the mobile game format, the low risk, high reward kind of stuff. They did
So shit.
well, they did The Visit. They did
Oh, I was wrong then. I liked The Visit.
Uh-huh.
they did Paranormal Activity.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like Blair Witch style stuff.
Oh, okay. I take it back.
Yeah, there's some gems in there. Is it The Conjuring? I think that's another one. That was pretty good. But it's really good. My girlfriend, she is a big, like, always on her phone, always texting, always doing those kind of things. So I was glad to have her see it because it really kind of plays on the, a good horror flick takes what you know and you're very familiar with and, makes it scary. And that did a really good job of this. It was about a bunch of teenagers who... There was a girl who committed suicide because of a video that was posted of her on the internet where she got drunk and, and pooped her pants. So she killed herself, and a year later, these kids are all hanging out on Skype, and all this scary stuff happens. But it's really cool because the way it's shot is it's like from the perspective of this one girl's Mac, and she's using Skype, she's using Spotify, she's using YouTube, she's using Google Chrome, like all these programs and stuff we're all familiar with and use all the time. And I don't know, I thought it was really well done. 4 stars, 4 out of 5 for me.
How
Nice.
scary on a scale of 1 to 10?
Not super scary. There was a couple gross parts there, and there's a couple really bad parts too. The acting isn't great, but I guess that's what you get when you're making, like when your budget's $1 million.
Yeah.
But I do recommend it.
Netflix?
It's no, I actually Netflix sent me, as they do from time to time, an offer for a free month of DVDs. So
You
I've just,
did say that.
yeah, I've just been getting all the movies that haven't been on streaming. Getting
Okay.
caught up on all those, and that was one of them. It's only like an hour and a half, but I thought it did some really smart things.
Nice.
Another thing, just quickly, I know it's that time of the year for pumpkin spice lattes, so because I can't afford nice things, I went and made my own pumpkin spice latte. Actually came out really well. You use real pumpkin puree, and you make your own kind of blend, and then you mix it in with... you're supposed to use espresso, but I just mix it with strongly
Strong coffee.
brewed coffee and milk, and came
I
out
don't
really
think
nice.
pumpkin spice all that much.
I don't really like it either, to be honest with you. I kind of like the feeling of, the season's changing and pumpkin flavor. So
I can't get enough pumpkin flavored Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I don't like it.
Oh, I just can't stop drinking it. It's so good.
I don't like any of the stuff with the syrup in it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I've
another reason
been getting hazelnut.
Uh-huh. Dunkin',
Pumpkin donuts are okay.
yeah. I like pumpkin everything.
Well, I like pumpkin pie if I'm gonna have pumpkin. Or you know what? My future mother-in-law makes a killer pumpkin roll.
I remember you saying that.
Oh,
What's a pumpkin roll?
it's like pumpkin breadish kind of stuff,
Yeah.
real moist pumpkin bread. You put you roll it up, but in between is like a layer of like a cream cheese filling.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Spice cream cheese
Oh,
filling.
Corey, it is ridiculously
that
good.
sounds good.
But
Nothing like a
that's
good
my
pumpkin
take
roll.
on pumpkin.
It's like an October version of Bavarian cream donut.
It's better than that.
The other thing, sorry.
Go ahead.
Anybody off?
No, go ahead.
Made some changes to the website. Made some progress finally. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but
I did.
it's at least kind of functional now. It's a little bit cleaner. I still need to move a lot of stuff around and flesh out some of the pages, but gonna have a page dedicated to just us and like kind of what we're playing and stuff like that, which I'll update fairly regularly. I want to have a page just for our Thummy Awards that are easily searchable, and then on the homepage I also added a schedule of what's coming up this week on Thumbstick Athletes, which I plan to update every Monday. I hope to stick to that, but who knows?
Yeah.
And if you notice on there, we've sort of been trying to create some YouTube content.
Yep.
Which we tried to do yesterday, and
Trying and failing a little bit. But
Yeah, so Will and I started a Final Fantasy Tactics walkthrough inspired by our episode, which is coming up on the 15th. Not next week, but the week after.
what's next week?
I don't remember.
Nothing.
I hope it's not next week.
Was it letter C?
Probably.
Whatever. We'll figure that out.
Probably. Unless something else is coming out that we can get some time with.
I
But
think
yeah,
we have C coming up later
Okay.
on in the month. But
we started our tactics walkthrough. I plan to do. We're gonna record a bunch of them, but each battle is gonna be a video. The first one we did was about 15 minutes, but we had some technical issues, and I was using a legal ROM, so I had some issues with the emulator and all that kind of stuff. And when we started it, I had already been trying to get everything working for like 3 hours, so I was a little bit dysfunctional for the first video. But now that we have all the kinks worked out, I hope the next ones are going to be good. But like I started to say, we're going to try and put one up every day we don't have any other content. So one went up on the 29th, which is Tuesday. Another one will go up tomorrow. I don't know about the weekend. I might try and stream over the weekend, but the goal is to basically have a more regular stream of content coming out.
yep. More stuff on YouTube
Yeah.
specifically. Obviously, the podcast itself won't change all that much, but we're trying to get more stuff out there. So
Indeed.
okay. Anything else, Corey?
No.
All right. What do you got, Eric?
Well, let's see. I did want to touch on what Tito briefly mentioned. I was supposed to play Destiny with Tito Sunday night after the Bills game, but I went out to a bar for the Bills game and I got drunk, so I wasn't able to play. And I kind of celebrated the Bills' absolute ass kicking that they handed the Dolphins, which is always great to see because I hate the Dolphins. Always been a big rival, and that before I don't have season tickets anymore, but when I used to, before I had season tickets, I always went to the Dolphins-Bills game because it was always my favorite rivalry. So anytime they can hand them a severe ass kicking like they did, I am all for it. So that was a good time. Other than that, Arsenal really putzing out of the Champions League, and it's pissing me right off, but what are you going to do? Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I've been really eyeing some new controllers. The Xbox Halo controllers are really nice, and the Lunar White. Have you seen the Lunar White?
I haven't.
Looks really nice, and it's got supposedly some better grip on the back.
Uh-huh.
So I've been eyeing those up. I don't know if I'll actually bite or not, but I don't know. I don't think I really did too much else, Dan.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah, I should talk about this. Will and I set up, I guess, the equivalent of family sharing on Steam on our Xboxes. It's really easy to do. You just sign into the other person's account on your Xbox and make it the primary account, and then you have access to each other's digital library, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So you can split games.
But all that.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll do some fooling around and find a game we can buy and see how that works. I know he bought NHL 16, which Dan and I played a little bit of.
I tried that.
Forgot about that. But yeah, I think that's it for my week, Dan.
Okay. I got a couple things. Yeah, I wanted to talk about mine and Eric's video. So we started our Summon Ally series, which Corey came up with this idea. Like, was it like a year and a half ago? A year ago?
Yeah, probably.
It's been a while, and we've been meaning to implement it. But what it is we're just basically going to be taking an expert of a game. So Eric's an expert, so to speak, at FIFA. Experienced.
There you go. An experienced player.
I hate to call anyone an expert unless they're like a professional, as good as you are at FIFA.
I'm certainly not an expert.
Right. I would never call myself an expert at anything. So, but yeah, Eric was essentially training me on FIFA. So we did that during the day. Was it yesterday?
Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday. Everything went smoothly. Like, the video came out really good. I uploaded it, and copyright infringements because of the music on the menus. So there was one song specifically that made it so that all the audio was muted in the whole video. The other songs just would have had to have an ad on the video, which is fine because our Nintendo, anything we do with Nintendo from the capture card, because the Nintendo songs are copyrighted, they get ads put on them, and there's nothing we can do about that. It's fine, whatever. But yeah, one of the shitty menu songs on FIFA made it so that we couldn't have any audio on our video. And I tried. They have an option to edit the song out, but it just edited the entire audio and all the video, which is kind of what the video is about. So we're gonna have another go at it next week because we didn't complete our task. So I might cut up some of the video and put that in before the start of our video that we're gonna do next week. So
I was gonna say, if it's just the menus, just cut out that bit.
Part of it is like Eric explaining to me what was going on, in tactics in the game. Like, it would kind of be, because we were having like conversations and stuff, it would be out of context, I guess. So I will go through it and pick out some parts that I'll put into the next video before we start part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. That's I tweeted that this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. I'll be more prepared next time too, though. I felt like I could have talked more.
Yeah.
Just upload it to Vimeo.
Vimeo?
Yeah, why not?
I could do that.
It's better than losing it.
It's there and done. Yeah, I could do that, and then we'll just maybe put it up on the website or something, or tweet it out.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It's worth a shot. It's not going to hurt even to try it, because YouTube is really strict about all that stuff, about music and.
Yeah.
It's stupid. If the music is in a game like that, it shouldn't. If the game wants to file a copyright infringement, fine. But I don't. The music shouldn't if it's actually in the game. Just seems stupid.
I don't think it should be able to be copyrighted if you're not monetizing it anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We haven't monetized any of our videos, so
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Ridiculous. I was not happy about that, but we'll for the Vimeo thing's a good idea. I'm gonna try that, Corey. So there was that. I've had my first full week with my new phone, which I love. It's the first. I was thinking about it. It's the first time I've had like a really good phone since I had my 3G iPhone way back in the day, like 6-7 years ago, however long ago it was. Because after I went from the iPhone to kind of a cheap Windows phone, and that's what I had for probably 2 or 3 years, and then I just had tablets for my phone. I didn't even have a phone, so it's nice to have like a good phone. A couple things to note: the camera on it is absolutely fantastic. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get it, because my wife got the Samsung Galaxy S6, and the Galaxy Note 5 has the same exact camera in it. So it's a bigger phone. It's got a few additions that I like multitasking apps that I haven't really tinkered with, but it's also got really good battery life. I've had it. I stopped charging it this morning when I woke up at like 8 o'clock, and it's at 51%. So that's also great. But one of the best things about it's got a little stylus on the bottom with a clicker.
Oh,
like
really?
a pen. So whenever I'm bored or whatever, I just pull it out and click it.
That's not the one that if you put it in the wrong way, it breaks your phone, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, careful.
I don't know how you put it in wrong. How stupid
That's
can
what
you
she
be?
said. Zing.
Yeah,
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it shouldn't be that easy to put it in wrong.
I don't see how you can be stupid enough to put it in wrong.
Dan,
I really don't.
you've been out in the world.
That's true.
Don't test it, Dan.
I'm not going to, but I don't see I really don't see how it's possible.
I forget who it was. They were doing a video like just demonstrating how you could do it, and when he tested it, it broke his phone.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No, that is one. The salesman actually, when my wife got it, warned her about that, but I don't know. I don't see how it could be possible, but that's me. I'm also very careful with my things, so there's that. And then the only other thing I wanted to talk about real quick. So my wife is taking administration classes for education. She wants to get into professional development for teachers and stuff. And she sent me a picture when she was in class the other day. One of her professors is having her read an excerpt from a book by Jane McGonigal.
Yeah.
She's a gaming advocate. She's really into getting people to play games to combat depression and for family togetherness and stuff. I just thought it was a really weird worlds colliding moment, because my wife is in this education thing, which is generally anti-gaming. They're kind of blame video games for everything. And most people in education feel the same way. Obviously, my wife's a little bit different because of me, and she grew up playing video games. That's all she did when she was younger. So yeah, if you ever want to say video games are bad for you, my wife got fantastic grades and still does, almost 4.0 GPAs all through college, and she played a ton of video games when she was younger, so I don't want to hear people blaming those for bad grades.
Was the book Reality is Broken?
Yes, that's the one.
I have it.
Yeah. You own it?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, we're gonna buy it actually.
You can have my copy.
We'll just buy one. It's fine. It's like $11 on Amazon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember talking about her early on in the podcast, something I'd read from her, because she does TED Talks and stuff.
Yep.
So
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wanted to bring that up because I was like, that's amazing.
I'm gonna slip one of those in with the lady.
Yeah.
Because she listens to TED Talks.
Yeah.
I'll have to find one where she references video games being useful.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really weird because my wife sent me this picture of the book, and I was like, hey, I know her. This is weird, and it's weird that because the professor said this is important because gaming is becoming such a huge part of modern day culture, not just for entertainment but also for learning, for learning experiences for people. So, but yeah, I mean, there's still people in education are very anti-gaming, so. It was funny. Just today, my wife said she confiscated some Skylanders stuff from some of the kids in her class, and they're whatever. She's like, it was a Mega Ram Spyro card, and my wife, when she took it away, was like, I have a Mega Ram Spyro at home, a Skylander. She said that it was just dead silent in the classroom. The kids were just shocked that their teacher plays Skylanders. But she said after that, some of the kids in the room that played Skylanders were able to connect to her that much more and pay better attention in class. So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy way to relate to the younger generations.
I can kind of relate to that. Being in a management position where I work,
Yeah.
I kind of have that same thing with some of the workers there that I oversee. Whereas I feel like some of the other management,
Yeah.
it's they have nothing in common with
Yeah.
them, and they kind of think, well, this kind of a douchey guy. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah, because you think of your old managers, like your mean managers, you just think they go home and like beat animals, like. But if the manager like plays video games or something like that, like
you have
it's an easy
something
way to
in
bond.
common with them. Yeah. You have something to talk about that's not work related for a
Yep.
minute.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So, other than that was cool. I'm gonna read that book. There's only like a chapter that my wife's professor put in it's like a pamphlet of excerpts from different books. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. It's just weird.
Cool.
That it was even mentioned in a remotely positive light in education. So it's very cool. And that's all I have for this week. Let's get into what we played, shall we? Or does anyone have to go to the bathroom?
I'll do what I played, and I got a scoop.
Sounds good.
Corey, good.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah. So I think the only thing I want to talk about is Rainbow Six Siege because we already talked about Destiny. Yeah. So Jake, Idaho Jake, one of the listeners, was nice enough to hook me up with a PS4 beta code, which I've played. I don't know, an hour or 2 hours of just doing terrorist hunt mode. I did a couple matches on normal difficulty and a couple matches on hard difficulty. Hard difficulty is pretty damn hard. They have some of the terrorists walk around with bombs strapped to them, and my initial reaction whenever I see any of the enemies is just to pull out my weapon and just start shooting. But these guys come running at you, and if you kill them too close to you, the bomb explodes and you die. So that happens to me a lot. But anyway, the game as a whole, I really, really like. It's graphically not all that great, but I don't really care because
I think part of that's beta.
Yeah,
too.
it's beta, and I know that.
Because what was Battlefield 3 that looked like garbage in the beta, and then it came out and it looked.
There
really
was
nice.
a Battlefield game. I remember.
It was Battlefield 4.
It might have been 4. I think it was 4, but because I thought the same thing. And even if it came out and looked like this, I wouldn't even care because I like it so much. Like some of the best parts of it are it's very tactical and strategy based. So like you can't just go in guns blazing, especially if you're playing it on hard. And I didn't try any online multiplayer against another squad, and I can only imagine it's that much more tactical playing against like smart real people.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you'll start off at a point. You'll pick your character, your weapon loadout, and then you all vote on where to start out in the map. And then you kind of rush the house or whatever it is you're going into, and you'll see all these windows are boarded up and things like that. So you can like. My favorite mode of entering a building is to rappel up the side of it, punch in the boarded up windows, and kind of peer in and see if there's any terrorists there, which you will quickly find out as you're getting shot at, and then maybe toss in a flashbang or whatever the case is. I don't have much of a loadout right now because I haven't unlocked a lot, but I have seen other people using their weapons, and it's pretty damn sweet. You can literally blow up anything.
Nice.
Like I saw after I died, the camera to watch your teammates try and complete the mission is really fun to watch. It gets pretty intense. But these guys, they were at a wall, and so one of them set up a charge on one side of the wall. The other guy went around the corner and set it up on the other side of the wall. So they blew in both sides of this wall and found some terrorists in there and just started shooting them.
Nice.
And it was amazing. But yeah, just all the different modes of entry and tactics that you can do, and I can't imagine this would be so much fun to play with a group of, I think it's five teammates or friends would be just a blast. And to get really strategic with it, would be so fun.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I'm really looking forward to this. This was one that was falling off of my radar, but I think has definitely turned into a buy for me now. Really, really digging it.
It comes out 1st of December, right?
Shortly thereafter.
Okay.
Maybe the second week.
4th.
Because 1st of December is Just Cause.
I think it comes out the same day.
Does it come out the same day?
I think so.
Fuck. Damn it.
I'm pretty sure. I can check.
I don't know. But I've really, really enjoyed the beta, like I said. And again, I do appreciate Jake hooking me up with a beta code.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So if any listeners want to play this weekend, I think this is the last weekend for it. Ends on the 4th. If you see me on and I'm playing, please send me a message. I'd love to play with some actual people that I could talk to.
December 1st.
December 1st, is it? Shit. Ugh. Start saving up my pennies.
Yeah.
My tokens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, Dan.
Okay. Sounds good.
And with that, I will take my leave.
Peace out.
Hi, Eric.
See y'all.
Bye.
All right, Corey, what do you have for us?
Oh, I'm exhausted, Dan.
Yeah.
But I got a few things, I guess. I played a new game called The Tender Cut, which sounds naughty, and it kind of is.
It sounds like food. I was thinking like steak.
Tender cut of beef, yeah.
Might as well be, because it's one of those first-person interactive experiences as opposed to a video game.
Right.
What was that one that just came out that we talked about?
Rapture.
Rapture. Everybody's gone to the Rapture. It's kind of like one of those. It's super short. I did beat it. It only took like 15 minutes though. But yeah, thank you. I guess
I'll add it to the list.
Since the Stanley Parable counted, I don't see why this one wouldn't. But it's based on an old art film that I can't recall the name of. It had like a French name or something like that. But Salvador Dali actually had a hand in this film. And what it is it's a bunch of, I don't know if it's found footage or just random footage that's intercut with each other, but it takes like the first couple minutes of this old black and white film and sort of puts you in the film as if you were a character in it rather than a viewer just watching it. It's really hard to explain. It's a really abstract game and weird. It's all in black and white. But the climax of this film and the video game is cutting open an eyeball and goo coming out of it.
I couldn't play that.
It's not as bad as, it's not super graphic.
Yeah, but
It's
even
just-
I have a thing about eyeballs.
Yeah, I think that's what it's kind of playing off of. It is like an art film, so it's kind of like, I don't know, the way it intercuts the footage, it makes even though it's black and white, makes it a little bit more painful than if it weren't. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But
Okay.
it just sort of plays off the film itself, which you kind of have to have an understanding of to know the game. So it is free to play. You can just download it. It comes from Russian developers in St. Petersburg called No Thanks Games.
Uh-huh.
So check it out. It is kind of interesting, but super short, and I don't know.
You just wanted to pad your.
Well, actually, I had downloaded it a while ago because I thought it sounded cool, and I was
Yeah.
in the mood for that kind of game. But
You didn't download it just to pad your beaten games list.
no, it's been sitting on my computer for like probably, I think it came out in April, so
Gotcha.
not that long. It was just free, and whatever article I read about it gave it a pretty favorable review. But it didn't really do anything for me, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'll pad my beaten games. That's
Uh-huh.
fine. The other one I played, which I think I want to do just a quick video of, just to share, is called the Westport Independent, and it's in alpha right now. So I played the alpha version. It is very much inspired by Papers, Please. You play a newspaper editor. And the themes of the game are like censorship and propaganda, and corruption and all that stuff between the media and government. And you play an editor at a newspaper company, and you have 4 employees that work for you. And stories come. It's like Papers, Please, where you're sitting at your desk. Stories come across your desk. You choose which ones you want to run. And when you choose the ones you want to run, you can actually censor them. So if there's a line in there that makes your government look bad, you can censor it out if you want. You don't have to. And then you give the article, the story, with the censored bits or uncensored, to your writers. And each of your writers has their own personality, their own feelings about the government. There's a rebel faction and a loyalist faction, and they have different opinions about it and different levels of suspicion about the government. So you kind of determine which writer you think is the best based on the story that you have and what you've censored out. And then once you have 4 employees, and you can only run 4 articles a week. Once you get your 4 articles, you go into the layout and you choose which one you want on the front page, which one you want on the second page, third page, fourth page, and that influences things. And then once you do that, you choose how you want to distribute it. And there's 4 different like areas in your state, and each one has its own attributes. Each one favors different types of articles over the other. There's industry articles, crime articles, social articles, and celebrity articles. So if you're running like, if your front page story is a crime story, then you want to distribute that newspaper to a area that favors that type of story.
Yeah.
Because it'll be more popular, you'll sell more copies, it'll increase your popularity overall. So it just kind of plays on that whole, like, the power of media and newspapers, and you kind of determine the direction you take the country, pretty much, or the state, I should say.
Huh.
Really, really interesting stuff. Really complex. And this is just the alpha, and you only play 5 weeks. But it does have that whole, like, Papers, Please thing. I forget, there was some bill that was passed, and it said, oh, you have 4 weeks until this bill is passed. And the bill, like, changes people's opinions on certain things. So once that bill passes, you want to change your articles, like censor certain things, and it's really fascinating. One of the most interesting parts about it are your 4 employees will change their opinions of things as you go, and the types of stories that you give them. And there's little bits of dialogue after every week between your 4 employees. It's very like 1950s. They're just sitting at a table smoking cigarettes, talking about, like, oh, our editor's an asshole, he made us run this story. And then they get into a discussion of politics, and from that you can sort of glean the types of things they're interested in and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Really, really interesting. I'm really excited for it. Papers, Please was I think my second favorite game of 2013 or whenever it came out.
Yeah.
I love that game, and this seems to be right there with it.
Is it by the same developer?
No, I don't know, unless they rebranded themselves or something like that. I think it's just very heavily influenced by Papers, Please.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that one. I'm very excited for it. Played more Mario Maker. I finally got 50 stars.
Well done.
Which means now I can upload an additional 10 levels. But
wow, it's 10.
Yep. Now you can upload 20.
Cool.
But it was the weirdest thing. I was getting like 2, 3 stars, sometimes 4 stars a day, every day, until I got to 49 stars. And then I didn't get any for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
It's like, I just need 1 more star so that I can upload 10 more levels.
Did you pull, what was it, Shut Up, Get Down?
Get Down, Shut Up, yeah.
You pulled that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't getting any stars, so there's no reason for it to be there.
Okay.
I'm going to upload a slightly easier version of it at some point.
I was going to start that one, because I usually only start after I beat it.
Yeah.
And I hadn't beat it, but when you said you needed another star, I was going to go in and start it, but it was gone. So I was like, well, I already started all your courses.
Yep. Yeah, I asked you guys, and Eric went in and did me a solid and gave me my 50th star. So just waiting. Probably this weekend I'll sit down and upload levels again. I have such a good time doing that. I love that game.
Yeah, or maybe tomorrow then I'll do the Mario Maker video so we can all of our levels so far.
There you go. That'll be fun. What a great game. And I haven't been playing as many levels, but the community around Mario Maker is sort of growing up, I guess, and siphoning through all the crap and finding out where the good stuff is, and people are coming up with ways to find the good stuff, because there are a ton of really bad levels.
Yeah.
Every time I do 100 Mario Maker mode, I just, like, there are way more. For every 10 bad levels, there's maybe 1 good one.
Yeah, I agree. It's still really popular on Twitch, too.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yep. If I had a capture card, I'd take some time to upload that stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Dan, I found out YouTube has its own editor.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because I don't have any editing programs on my desktop.
Right.
And everything I do is on my laptop, which is 5 years old at this point. So it's kind of slow, especially for rendering videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I found you can upload, whatever raw video you want to YouTube and edit it there. You can do crossfades, and that's the Final Fantasy Tactics video I edited on YouTube.
Oh.
And just sort of offloaded the processing to YouTube. So
that's cool, because I don't really like Movie Maker that much.
No, I mean, it's not, you can't do a ton of stuff, but it's
right.
Pretty basic, and you can do just enough. And it still took a while to process. It probably took as long as it would have taken my laptop to process it. But that's fine. At least I didn't need that processing power from my computer.
Yeah.
I've been playing more Final Fantasy 6 on iOS. That's my like bathroom game. I'll play for like 15 minutes, and you can save anywhere on that. It's not like the SNES version. You can just quick save and go to the main menu. And right now I'm just getting to Zozo
Okay.
to hunt down Terra in Esper form.
Uh-huh.
What a
That's the
good
one with
game.
the updated graphics, right?
Yeah, just the sprites are a little bit modified, which a lot of people didn't like, but I think it looks pretty good.
I didn't really like it either.
Yeah, I could see that. I think a lot of characters benefited from it, though,
Right.
but that's neither here nor there. And then I started my tactics playthrough, which the first video of that, me and Will play and talk about it. We're going to, start focusing in a little bit more and do a little bit better job of describing the story. I think I told some lies in that first video, so hopefully we have the story figured out. It's weird, though, playing it from the perspective of somebody who's trying to explain it, you realize how little you know about the story.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, I've been playing that game for a decade,
Yeah.
more than a decade, almost 2 decades. And it's funny to just see how little I know about the story.
Yeah, because you go on to what, like Wikipedia or whatever, the Final Fantasy Tactics Wiki and read the stuff, and you're like, oh, that fills in a plot hole that I've, had the entire time I've played the game for 10 years or whatever,
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't help, and Will and I talked about this a little bit in the video, it doesn't help that the original translation wasn't very good for the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of the story elements don't come across as clearly as they do in the War of the Lions remake for mobile.
That's what I'm going to start playing. Maybe I'll start playing that tonight instead of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, there you go. Get ready for our episode,
Yeah.
which is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've been playing.
Okay. I got a couple quick things. I beat Skylanders Trap Team finally.
Yeah.
Last year's Skylanders, because the new one came out, and me and my wife wanted to start playing on the new one. I just figured we decided to just have me power through Trap Team when I had free time. So I beat that. I actually ended up liking it more than I thought I would. I didn't really get the whole trapping the bad guys thing until I figured out that, like, when your Skylander's about to die, you can just switch over to one of the bad guys and prevent them from dying, which was helpful because I was trying to level up one of my new Skylanders that I hadn't opened. So whenever he came close to dying, I would just switch into the bad guy, and the bad guy would get enough experience at my Skylander level up and give him a fresh health bar. So I did end up kind of liking that whole mechanic towards the
So
end.
if your guy's about to die, you can switch to the bad guy?
Yeah, because you would have a bad guy like in the little crystal traps, and you would have one with you all the time. You could switch them out like you would a Skylander, and you just hit the left bumper or left trigger, and it would switch to the bad guy, and you'd fight as the bad guy that you had trapped for a while, and get all the experience, especially for low level Skylanders. Towards the end of the game, they level up really fast because there's a lot of experience. So that's cool. So so me and my wife can focus solely on superchargers now, which is exciting.
What is it about this game that most appeals to you?
I don't know. It's a pretty solid, like, action puzzle platformer type of game. Actiony. I don't know.
In the same way that the Spyro games were?
Yeah, I mean it's about that. It's not 3D though, like Spyro was. But I mean it's a solid game. I really like the creativity that the developers have in creating characters. I think there's some really neat characters to it. And then the whole collecting thing, like having all. I'm gonna actually maybe snap a photo of all my Skylanders collection to put on our Twitter feed or something. I don't know. It's just neat. Like I said, there's the collection factor. It's a solid game, especially Superchargers is really, really well done.
Yeah.
And the vehicles are really cool. But I don't know, there's just something about it. It's got that X factor that makes you want to keep playing and keep Skylanders. Because like my wife, whenever she'll get a coupon from Target, like buy one Skylander, get one free, or buy one get one 50% off, and she'll just buy some and bring them home. which is cool.
Yeah, that's that's the X Factor thing is that's what's interesting to me most
Yeah,
about it is
yeah,
it's like trying to define what that is.
yeah. But like I said, a lot of it is the creativity of the characters. So some of the characters are really, really well done. And that's what I like about it over like a Disney Infinity, which has characters you already know. What's the other one? Lego Dimensions. I probably would love because I love Legos, but it's same thing. It's like it's all these properties you already know. I like the developers to be able to like create unique characters, and some of them are characters like old characters. Like we have a stealth elf that we have from uh, Swap Force, but she's just been like updated to a different a different look and has different weaponry and stuff. So that's also kind of cool to see how they change over the course of games. So
Are any of those worth money yet?
I doubt it. I mean, there are some rare ones that are like one-time event things, like I think it was Swap Force. They had like silver and gold characters, or like the dark editions for this year's Skylanders. Like those will probably be worth because they're a little bit more rare than the normal Skylanders. So, and like the Skylander amiibo mixes. I think a few years from now, those are going to be really really rare and valuable, especially if you didn't open them because of the Donkey Kong and the Bowser amiibo.
Thanks, Kang.
Yeah.
It's it'd be cool to see in like 10 years when Skylanders VR comes out that there's if they still use those original ones, and like if you have one of those, people know like, oh, he's a Skylanders vet.
Yeah. It could very well be. I mean, because they're like once you buy a Skylander, supposedly it'll work in every game after that. So
Yeah.
even the first generation, I think it's Skylander Spyro's Adventure, maybe is the first generation. Those Skylanders will work like in new games. So
Are they phasing out those original Skylanders?
I don't think so. I think you
Oh,
can
you
use.
can still. No,
improv-
I mean, are they still selling them?
I don't think so.
No.
You can find them on like eBay and Amazon.
That's cool
Probably.
then. That's good. That's what I would do.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm a fan of the Skylanders franchise. So I played that, and then the only other thing I played, I played FIFA. I'll talk about FIFA real quick. FIFA is actually a really well done game, and even though I'm not much of a soccer fan, like I really like the game. It plays really nicely. I'm having a little trouble because there's a lot of buttons and controls to do, like different types of passes and stuff. So I'm having trouble learning all those. But Eric's been really helpful in teaching me that stuff. So it's a really solid game. I don't have too much to talk about because I played two online matches and like exhibition match and a half. I actually didn't do too badly. I lost 3-0 in both my online matches. That stuff's on the video. I'll probably, like you said, have some way. We'll put it on Vimeo and see if that works. But the first guy I played against played as, I think it was Real Madrid, which Eric says everyone plays as. They have some of the best players in the world, and he was just like kicking the ball from everywhere and scoring goals because he has the best players in the world on his team. The second guy I played against was Liverpool, and he was a lot better of a player, but didn't have like as good of a team as Real Madrid. So, but I don't think I had a shot on goal that entire second game I played online. He just stifled. Hey, his defense was stifling. I couldn't move the ball at all.
He literally emasculated you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, because I should say our ultimate goal for that summon ally is for me to win an online match. So that's what we're working towards. I only played 2 because of time constraints. So next video, I'll just jump right into the online matches, and hopefully I can get 4 or 5 in and have a better chance at winning one. So, but I like that game. It's good stuff. And the last game I played is a lot more Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm really trying to beat it. I'm on mission 36, I believe it is. So I have another 6 or 8 missions left, I think. But I ran into one that's one of those missions that I hate from stealth games. If you get noticed, you fail the mission. I really am having a hard time with that. I've died got caught probably 4 or 5 times trying to do it. It's going to be one of those ones that I have to just take a ton of time and just be super careful. But
I bet you there's a workaround.
I might end up looking one up because there's another one of these coming up, and like mission maybe 39 is the same thing. You have to be stealthy the whole time. You can't get noticed or you fail the mission, which I just hate because it was on such a good role for a stealth game. Like I could do whatever I wanted and screw up on my stealth and still complete the mission, and you run into that, and it's aggravating. But I still really like the game. It still plays really nice, and I hope to have it beaten by next week, but who knows?
I deleted it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I don't know. As much as I really liked it, and I think it's a fantastic game, I don't really see myself going back to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really long too. I think I played it for 46 hours.
Yeah.
And probably the past 20 hours have been just doing story missions, and then the important side missions, the gold colored side missions. So, but
I don't know. I feel like I've gotten everything out of that game that I'm gonna get out of it.
Yeah, no, I could totally see that. And one of the things I'm starting to do is I fell into a rhythm of using the same weapons and the same tactics for all my missions, so it doesn't feel as fresh, I guess.
Yeah.
Part of that's my fault for not wanting to try new things, but I also want to beat it because I've got a ton of other games to play.
Right.
I still want to finish Pillars of Eternity. I want to finish Valkyria Chronicles. I want to finish Final Fantasy Type 0. In November starts Fallout and Battlefront. So, I want to get this stuff done so I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And with MGS 5, it's like the charm of the game is like discovering the different things that you can do, the cool things you can do, and the synergies between weapons and stuff like that. But I get the same sort of experience out of that just hearing people tell me it. Like, oh, you can do this, this, and this. Oh, that's really cool. Do I really need to go see it and do it myself? I mean, not really.
Right. You just watch a YouTube video of all that neat stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think Kotaku posted one where if you throw a smoke grenade in a Jeep, you can just drive a Jeep right into a base. And the soldiers will be like, hey, that's kind of weird, but they won't like come investigate, They can't see you. So that's really, really neat. But again, you hear about that on the video, and maybe I'll try it, but it's really cool. But yeah, you definitely don't need to necessarily experience those things yourself in the game. But
still a great game.
Yeah, still a great game. I will beat it, even if I have to look up a walkthrough for that mission. It's just aggravating. Like I said, that's what I hated about stealth games. And I didn't think I would have to deal with that in Metal Gear, but I do. So, and that's all I played. So let's get right into feedback, shall we?
Do we have feedback?
We do. We got a couple of emails.
All right. Oof.
I don't know. You might want to double check and see if there's anything on Facebook.
Oh, let's see here. I know we didn't get any messages.
Not feedback.
Messages. No, I don't think so.
Okay. First email is from Idaho Jake, who says, "Hey guys, not sure how much I will be paying attention to the podcast because the Ravens game is on. If they don't win, I will throw up. So far, I'm loving The Taken King. The storytelling is so much better with cutscenes, and Nathan Fillion playing the voice for the Hunter Vanguard puts humor into it. I like how now you can have more than one faction, and infusing weapons is awesome because I really like the rocket launcher and pulse auto rifle I have. I've noticed that blue engrams are dropping more often, and I noticed after level reputation 20 at the Crytek, I'm getting more legendary items from blue engrams. I still haven't tried the raid because I hear it's taking people up to 7 hours or more. Like I said in earlier feedback, Nolan North makes a better Ghost just with the emotion he puts into it. I really haven't ran into anything I don't like, but there's something they could add is mini ship games while you are on the load screens. That's a good idea. I'm sure Tito and Ryan will have their 2 cents to say about it, so let's move on. I tried Mad Max, and it wasn't too bad of a game. The fighting is smooth like Batman, and the driving isn't too shabby either. I didn't care for the gun controls. You hold L1 to shoot with O with O or something like that. I didn't play too much because the Taken King came out 3 days after I rented Mad Max, and boom, Taken King has taken all my time. Can't wait to play Super Meat Boy and Broken Age since they are the new PS Plus games. Well, I really can't think of anything else except Eric, if you want to play during the weekend and I'm not on, just message me on the PS4 and I will get it on my phone. And also go Ravens. So I forgot to mention that Super Meat Boy and Broken Age are the PS Plus games. Super Meat Boy is one of my favorite platformers that's come out recently. It's really fantastic. So if you haven't had the opportunity to play it, please do. And then this next one is also from Idaho Jake, who said, "Hey, I forgot question of the week. I'm not sure if Corey put the wrong episode down for question of the week, but I'll answer it for now. Religion is one thing I never bring up, and I hate when people bring it up. Also, I have 2 codes for the Rainbow Six beta. If Will wants one, he can have it, and you can give the other one to someone else." And then he lists the PS4 codes. So see if Will wants one.
I want one.
No PC codes that I'm aware of.
Maybe
I
I'll just
have.
get a PS4.
There you go. And then take it back in, return it. Buy one from Walmart. Play the Siege beta over the weekend, and then return it.
And the Bloodborne DLC.
Oh yeah. Well, you probably wouldn't be able to power through that in a weekend. Well, maybe if you played enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all for feedback, right?
Beardless is asking in the chat, going back to Metal Gear, what mission you're stuck on.
I can't think of the name of it. It's like 36. I have to Fulton or destroy the walker gears. And if you get noticed by anyone, it's an insta fail. And I think there's like 20 guys that are all floating around and walking around where they are. And I was able to Fulton 2 of them out. But as I was going around, someone I had either forgotten to mark or because I had Quiet with me. I might actually restart the mission with D-Dog because he does a better job of sniffing out people. He's better for stealth missions. Quiet is better for combat missions. So I can't think of the name of it for the life of me. But yeah, that's the gist of the mission. And I just like part of it is my impatience. Like, I want to get the mission over with. I just have to like slow down and do it because I think I could. But
Footprints of Phantoms?
Yes, that is what it is. Yep, and I have to, like I said, Fulton out the stupid walkers, and there's 4 of them in the mission, and you can destroy them, but like destroying them attracts people, so you'd have to kill everybody first. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can sneak up and just like rocket them both at the same time. I wonder if that would work, or if you have to not be noticed at all, not even after you destroy the walker gears. I don't know. Maybe I'll look up a walkthrough and see if that's possible to do that. But god damn it, it was so good, and that just
had to challenge you, Dan.
peed in my Cheerios is what it did.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you know what I tried to play? The new Shovel Knight content.
Oh, what'd you think?
My save game's gone.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wait,
I didn't know how you could play it. Like, I don't think you can play it just by starting a new game. I think you have to play through. I don't know. I only played for like 5 minutes. Huh?
What'd you have it on?
I have Eric's Steam copy.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, did you delete the game before after you played it?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, so maybe it didn't. Maybe that it doesn't back up to the cloud like other games.
It might not have. Like when it first came out or something, it didn't have cloud saving. I don't know.
That might be if it even has it now. So it would just have deleted your character.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's stinky.
I didn't realize that was free until I read an article about it.
Yeah, because I have it on the 3DS. So, but I have only played like an hour or 2 of the Shovel Knight.
What a good deal.
Yeah. That's all I have to talk about. You have anything, Corey?
Nope. Just a reminder, Final Fantasy Tactics videos will be going up. They hope to improve them every time we do. But what else do we have coming up? Next week, we don't know.
I think Eric sent us the episode lineup in our Kick chat, but
oh, I think we had listed for next week Soma ?
Oh yeah, which won't be able to buy, unfortunately. I really want to play that though.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to buy. I can't buy anything at this point. But
no, I'm too poor. I will be getting Fallout 4 and Battlefront and Xenoblade.
Yeah, when's Xenoblade?
The 4th of December.
Oh my gosh.
The only problem is I might want to get Just Cause 2
Yeah.
because I really like Just Cause 2. So I really want to get 3, but I haven't quite decided. Obviously, the Fallout and Battlefront are definites.
Priorities.
Yeah. So, yeah. I guess that'll do it for episode 219 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
Corey.
Thanks for listening, and get out of my basement.